Welcome to the WDW News Today podcast.
We still have this?
Yes. Sorry,
Oh.
we've been away. It's been a minute. We're back, and it's going to look worse than ever today.
It is going to lurk.
Look worse than ever because, we don't have anybody to run the studio. Katie is on vacation. So you get whatever couple monkeys pushing buttons can come up with. The lighting, we couldn't get these other lights to work.
They tried all day.
We kind of messed with it all day. It's much more complicated than it probably seems.
We decided a podcast was better than what you've had for the last 8 weeks, which is no podcast.
We had a couple maybe, but it's been probably
Were there a
5 weeks.
couple?
Jason helped me with a couple.
Oh. What did you guys talk about?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Oh, okay.
But I think we talked about the boardwalk and stuff. So
Boardwalk and stuff.
I don't know, because I had to convince Jason that Cake Bake Shop was good, and that he needed to go there.
Did he go?
Not yet. I tried to take him, and then who knows? Things happen. I tried to say let's go, and then he couldn't, and then he could go, and I couldn't.
You're talking, so let me do this.
Oh, look! You have the button that makes it look. Oh, look at
this
me.
won't be distracting or anything.
No, we're
we'll definitely be
professional
able to do this.
Podcasters.
Cool.
We want to start with some viewer mail. What do we call this?
Should we start with where everyone's been and what's going on?
Okay, we could do that.
Can we? Because I also want to do this.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So, the last time I did a podcast, I believe, was the end of March. Is that correct?
That sounds about right.
I didn't come back and do one.
No, you have not done one
because I came
before
back.
You went to Tokyo.
Even when I was here, I was at Epic the whole week. Doing
Yes,
coverage,
correct.
So I didn't come in. Yes, I went to Disneyland first. Actually, this is going to sound because it was ages ago.
This is unhinged.
I went to Disneyland for Season of the Force at the end of March. Then I flew to Japan, where I was for 2 weeks. Then I went to Las Vegas for a week. I had tickets to WrestleMania, so I went to that. But also that was to buy time because at the end of that week anyway, I had to be in Hollywood for the kickoff of Universal Fan Fest nights at Universal Studios Hollywood. Then I came home. I think I did one episode of the news. I remember at some point I've sat in that room.
You need to understand that on the news, I hyped everyone up for 2 or 3 episodes. Don't worry, Tom is back next week. And you came back for 1 episode, and then you were gone again, and everyone was furious. Why do we have Eric again?
This is towards the end of Johnny Carson's career when he wasn't there at all.
Jay Leno was on all the time.
Yeah. But it doesn't stop there. So then I came home. I did that 1 episode of the news, and then I did a whole week at Epic Universe, which we were collecting content, and we're working on the honest reviews. The first honest review is out.
Yeah.
Of Celestial Park. We're doing it in 5 parts. More to come. Go check out the Universal Parks News Today channel. A lot of good food reviews.
But I think we're going to do a podcast episode on Epic too.
We will, and Nana I think wants to be a part of it. So
I haven't received her petition requesting to be part of it, so until I do, I'll just pretend that it's just going to be me.
I think it's going to have to be the 3 of us. Yeah. So that'll happen at some point. I don't know if that'll happen next week either because I'm, again, at Epic for a week. And then in the middle of all that, we also have things opening at Disney World. We have the Villain Show. We have the Mermaid Show. Everything that's part of Cool Kids Summer. Geo82. Can't talk about that. Anyway, that's in June.
Yeah.
Geo82 is in June. That's when we're going there. And then... So yeah, came home, went to Epic for a bit, but then we had to go to Disneyland for the 70th kickoff, which is what today's podcast will be about, and we have some very cool footage to show you from
cool
that.
Stuff.
Yeah, so this will be a little different from
cool moments.
Our usual podcast, and thank you to Disney for Jessica, who we work with at Disneyland Resort, was I watched the podcast, and I think it'd be cool if you guys did this, and they made us wake up at 3 a.m, and it was worth it. So...
hey, if you're going to wake up at 3 a.m, this is way better than doing it for a Run Disney event.
It has to be the only thing worth waking up at 3 a.m, but you'll see in a little bit.
It's one of the best days of my life. It
was very, very cool, and I'm very thankful they included us. And so we came back for that, and now we're here. I literally landed at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, and it's, what, 7 o'clock? 7?
7.
Does anyone even
Yeah,
remember
7.
that? I've been
Yeah.
gone so long. It's 7 o'clock now, and we're sitting down to do this podcast about the Disneyland 70th. But we talked about Epic. Grand opening of Epic Universe is tomorrow. We have a lot of coverage there over the next few weeks. We're trying Express. We're trying a VIP tour. You'll be on the VIP tour on Saturday.
Am I?
Yeah.
I didn't know because I volunteered. You know, we had that. Okay.
Yeah, no.
If I'm going, I'm going.
You're coming.
I'll be there.
You'll be there. We're forcing you to ride.
That means
Battle
I'll
of
sit
the
out
Ministry
tomorrow. I'll
until
sit out
you-
tomorrow. I'll play my golf or whatever I got to do.
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice. You don't have a ticket for tomorrow.
Yeah. I could have gone to like Islands of Adventure and just looked around.
Those tickets went on sale so long ago. That's when you were on your road trip. That's why you don't have an opening day ticket, because you were road tripping.
That was like October or November.
It feels like a lifetime ago, but so does March at this point. I don't even know anymore.
I just want to quickly interrupt you because I'm also going to be gone during a lot of this time. I'm going to miss time. You're going to miss time.
Yeah.
We've got to get together and film like 10 episodes at the same time.
Godspeed.
Because I'm going one direction in the world and you're going the opposite direction in the world, and we're going to meet on the other end of the world. Literally,
Oh, we wanna
I'm
talk
coming
about that
from
now?
west to east. You're going from east to west, and we're going to meet somewhere in the middle of the world. But we'll
Let's go in order, because before all that, so we have Epic coverage. I'm there for the next week, and then my parents are coming into town, please. And you're going somewhere for a wedding or something.
going to a wedding.
Yeah. I just went to a wedding in Laguna. It was pretty crazy.
I'm going to a wedding in Indiana, so I'm not sweating it either.
And if you want to know
Big
what
shot.
can I mention what a small world it actually is? Two of the guests at this wedding. I don't know if is it uncouth to say this. I don't know. I'm going to say it anyway. Two of the guests at this wedding. One of them was Stephen Clark. Stephen Clark was the first head of D23. He's just a guest at this wedding. Another guest at this wedding was Dick Cook.
Wow.
Dick Cook was the head of the Walt Disney Studios. In fact, at the first D23 Expo, very famous presentation where they announced, tell me if you've seen these, the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, the Guillermo del Toro Disney film series called Disney Double Dare You. What else was announced?
Mark Summers was involved.
The cheapest Muppet movie ever made, which never happened. They did make the Jason Segel movie instead, which, funny enough, I got to talk to someone who helped write the script for that movie recently. Boy, bless me. And then Jim
Zoom
Lewis.
tight.
Jim Lewis, who's part of the event we're going to talk about in a second. Jim Lewis wrote that with Frank Oz. And he actually off camera spoke to me a little bit about it. And so Dick, it's just weird how small of a world it is. That you end up at, and it wasn't the wedding of someone I knew by living the life I've lived. It was someone on my girlfriend's side. It's completely unrelated.
Unrelated to your
So it's just
Disney
weird.
life.
Yeah, it's just weird. There's no actual connection where, oh, well, Tom, you're so deep in the world of Disney that of course you ended up at a wedding with people. No, it was not because of that. So that's what was super weird about it. But anyway.
Well, quickly, because you did that Sunday.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I got to fly Frontier Airlines. It was not good.
Are you bragging? Hold on, for this, Eric, let's get a shot on you so you could tell people about Frontier Airlines.
It was not good. That's all I'm going to say. The weird
I've been
boarding-
told it's the SeaWorld of airlines.
It is, like people make fun of Spirit. It is like 3 steps higher than Spirit. It's 3 steps below Spirit, I'm sorry.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, yeah, because Spirit, like you can at least book that big front seat and it feels like a first class seat.
Yeah.
And you kind of get like, to feel fancy or whatever. Frontier is like throw you in there. They do have those front seats, but they're just regular seats with with an
Which
empty
is a
seat in
thin
between.
sheet of plastic
It was
wrapped to look like a chair.
It was the most uncomfortable seat I've ever had for anything, including like, I don't know, hey, go sit on this rock over there when I was in the Marine Corps. It was worse than that. So anyway, I just wanted to paint the picture for what I was doing while you were
Was it
doing
more
this wedding.
uncomfortable than the benches at Beauty and the Beast live on stage?
Way more uncomfortable.
That's saying
Imagine if those were that hard, but also lumpy.
I think if they were lumpy, they'd hurt less.
Sprinkle some gravel onto those seats, and that's what the Frontier Airlines seat was.
But anyway, what's happening between, it'll be an hour-long show before we even get to the topic today. So what's happening between, and this has been plugged on this show already, but we're going to reveal some things today. Of course, Muppet Vision 3D is closing forever on June 7th. And I think it's great. Disney announced this week that the cast members will actually be the last to see Muppet Vision. They have a separate event on June
On the
10th.
10th,
That's
yeah.
very nice. That's the right thing to do. I approve. That's great. Wonderful.
By the way, does this mean that there won't be the blogger and vlogger fight to try to
it's
slow
still
play the
happening.
line so you could be the last one?
It's still happening. They'll
Those
still
people.
do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really not looking forward to the 7th, other than some things we have planned for that day. But first of all, I think if you want to move Mickey for a second, because I don't want to hit anything with this, because this is pretty important. So first of all,
Hey,
Paul-
Mickey.
No,
Oh, he's turned
he's
off.
probably off.
He's off.
Don't do him right now. How about here we go. I don't know how this looks on the camera. Oh, it's upside down. There you go. It kind of looks like it does.
Yeah.
This is the real thing. This is the one that's in Muppet Vision. Paul Osterhout has, for some reason, trusted us with this. So we have it. For those of you that are unaware, we're having an event called, I'm going to wrap this up while on camera. We're having an event called A Glorious 3-Day Finale, which is our way of sending off Muppet Vision with love and care. Not that Disney isn't, because the cast event is a very thoughtful, nice thing they're doing. But it's our way of giving, if the cast members get the ultimate final farewell, we have to have a nice ultimate final farewell for the fans. And so that's what we're doing. This is taking place June 5th through the 7th. We are 2 weeks away now. And 2 weeks out from an event is absolutely the best time to announce a really big guest for it, because people can totally make travel plans now.
I did not announce the guest on the news today because Lori
Yeah.
thought you might want to be.
We'll do it here, and it might even be posted by the time you guys see this, but nonetheless, we'll talk about it. We're very honored to have Steve Whitmire coming to the event. Steve Whitmire, of course, for many, many, many years was Kermit the Frog. But in Muppet Vision, of course, Jim was still Kermit, but Steve played 3 very important characters in Muppet Vision. I would say the next 3 most important, in fact. Bean Bunny, Waldo Seagraphic,
Waldo, the spirit of 3D.
the Spirit of 3D, and Rizzo the Rat. So, I mean, that's a pretty big
good.
deal.
Pretty good.
We also have Rita Marie Peruggi, I believe is the pronunciation. I hope I'm right on that pronunciation. Who is a producer, Jim's producer on Muppet Vision, coming and joining us. Fred Buchholz, who worked at Muppets. He's bringing to the event. He worked on effects in the show from the Henson side. He's bringing to the event the mechanism that allowed Bean Bunny to blow bubbles. So
Really?
whatever the thing is that went inside Bean Bunny that let him blow bubbles, he's going to talk all about all the things they had to do on the Muppet side to make all those cool effects on screen happen. But then on the other side, we of course have some of our friends, our former Imagineer friends, coming back and joining us again.
Kathy Rogers.
Well, first I want to mention Jim Mulder, because we talked about effects. So we'll have the other side, which is the effects in the theater. Jim Mulder played a big role with his team getting the special effects in the theater. So how to make the walls look like they exploded, and how to do projection mapping essentially before projection mapping existed, and all of that. And then if you want to list our other friends.
Kathy Rogers, Eric Jacobson. Not Big Bird Eric Jacobson, but the Imagineer Eric Jacobson.
Paul Osterhout.
Paul Osterhout,
Yes.
obviously, who, again, graciously loaned us and trusted the 3D stick to us.
And additional props that we're not showing you yet, because they'll be in the room when we do the event. So the event, June 6th is the big day for the event, other than June 7th being the closing. June 6th is when we're going to the Embassy Suites, Lake Buena Vista. Is that the full name I'm giving? I forget.
Embassy Suites, Lake Buena Vista Resort. There is a Lake
Yeah.
Buena Vista South. It's not at that one. It's the one that's like right off of Palm Parkway.
It's the one that's actually
You can
in
see it
Lake
from I-4.
Buena Vista. The
Yeah.
other Embassy Suites has chosen the name Lake Buena Vista, even though it's not in it. So you want, the one Eric just mentioned is where we're having the event, because we outgrew our space here for this event. It's such a big event for us. So there will be an afternoon of panels and presentations with all of these wonderful folks. We also have 2 wonderful pre-recorded pieces, a couple pre-recorded pieces, one of them being Jim Lewis, who was very instrumental from the Muppet side making Muppet Vision happen. A lot of the gags from the extended queue and a lot of the physical gags all around the area, Jim was involved in. Has a lot of good stories from working with Jim Henson on the project. And then the other one, which I got to go film this week, I got to go to the Warner Brothers studio lot and go to the Chuck Lorre building, which is a pretty historic building to begin with, but then go to the office of Bill Prady. Bill Prady is the co-creator of The Big Bang Theory, which means also involved in Young Sheldon and this and that. One of the most powerful television names in the industry, not just today, but ever at this point. Big Bang Theory, is it the longest running sitcom? Was that what it reached? It something like that.
I could just say it's on a lot.
Yeah,
it's
I will
on
say,
a lot.
So much so that he doesn't have a lot of Big Bang Theory memorabilia out. The one thing he does have is the director chair that says 200 episodes. Okay. And I know, without doing any research, that's a lot for any sitcom.
Right.
That's not a number I think almost any, if any, have ever hit. So,
sure. Because I've been binge watching MASH, and everybody knows that. But MASH has about 25, 26 episodes per season, and it went 10 or 11 seasons. So that eclipsed the 200, but not many. Yeah. Not many.
That was at one time the longest running weekly episodic program.
Yeah.
And then it was surpassed by Monday Night Raw. Fun fact. Anyway.
I think there's some others out there too. Yeah.
There are. Big Bang Theory. Obviously you know what the Big Bang Theory is. Even if you don't watch it, you've heard of it. So Bill's first real job, he was working at a Radio Shack in New York City, and then he ended up getting a job with the Muppets where he basically wrote stuff for, I'm going to forget the term, but essentially merchandising.
Okay.
So if a Kermit the Frog doll or figure or something came out, he would write the text that went on the package and stuff like that. Eventually, Jim Henson trusted him enough to start letting him write shows.
Okay.
So I think it was the Jim Henson Hour or something. There were some things around that time that didn't really get very far. He was actually hired to write a special for the Muppets that was around technology because Jim was very into technology. And then that never happened, but he just stayed. And he stayed and then eventually was tasked with, you're going to write this Muppet show for Walt Disney World. And Bill, funny enough, that wasn't the last time he wrote a 3D show. He also wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Oh, he wrote that
too.
Okay.
We had off camera, we had a long conversation about Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. But on camera, Bill shared a lot of really cool stories about working on Muppet Vision, which was his first real writing job, I would say. I think he'd say the same. And he said, despite, again, everything he's accomplished in his career, which the man has accomplished a lot, he said on social media and reiterated in our interview, that Muppet Vision is the thing he is absolutely the proudest of in his entire career.
Wow. Which
really says something. And I will tell you that's not something that was said for the sake of the fans or for the sake of the moment, because when I walked into the office, in his check-in area, the first piece of art that greets you is the concept art for Muppet Vision 3D. Wow. So that wonderful Nina Ray Vaughn piece that you've probably seen a million times. It's great. He has a print of that, and it says a lot. Again, like that's when you've co-created something like The Big Bang Theory, and the thing that greets people at your office is Muppet Vision.
Yeah,
that means something for sure. So those are going to be 2 digital appearances as part of the event. So if you want to join us in person or digitally, tickets are available at agloriousfinale.com. As part of that, you also do get to be a part of, depending what ticket you buy, there is a autograph signing and mixer and photo op session. I do want to warn you with Steve Whitmire, because I don't want anyone to buy tickets under false pretenses. Due to contractual obligations he has with comic conventions and things of the sort, he generally is not allowed to sign. Because our event is to benefit charity, he is allowed to sign one piece. He cannot sign any of your personal belongings, but he can sign the event lithograph, which is the gift that you get when you buy a ticket that includes the mixer autograph signing part of the event. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, you can take photos with you. You could talk to him. And same with everybody. Everybody else, you can bring personal items. I just want to make sure everyone is very clear. If you come to the event, no personal items for Steve Whitmire. Contractually, he cannot. We don't want to get him in trouble. He's been nice enough to come be a part of this. And so we don't want to get him in any trouble. We want to make sure. At the same time, I think it's wonderful that we were able to find a way that you can still take home his autograph on something Muppet Vision related. at the event. But at gloriousfinale.com, we have tickets. There's individual tickets for the meet and greet event. There's individual tickets for the presentations. There's an all-access ticket. And we even have there's essentially an economy option if you want to be in the room for the panel presentations as well. We have sort of back of house seating for $50, and there's a discount on that if you are a active Disney cast member. Right. You just have to buy that special ticket on the website and then show your cast ID when you come to the event, as well as a thank you to our cast member viewers. So again, gloriousfinale.com. June 6th is the main event. Also on June 5th, though, we're going to be in this building for a special episode of News Tonight, if you're interested in that kind of foolishness.
Yep.
And then we're all going to meet up at the park on June 7th and go see Muppet Vision together and say goodbye.
Couple quick notes.
Yes.
Number one, because people have asked, no, admission to the park on the 7th is not included in this event ticket.
People actually asked that?
Yeah, someone asked me
Yeah,
that.
no.
They asked if it includes park admission. It does not include park admission. It doesn't include us making a park reservation on your behalf.
They're still available, though, so hurry.
And secondly, last I knew there were only 2 rooms remaining in our room block at the Embassy Suites Resort, Lake Buena Vista. So that might be gone by the time this airs, but there is a room block with a discounted room rate, and last I knew there were only 2 rooms remaining.
And that information's also on the event website as well. So again, the way the presentations are going to be broken up, we're going to have essentially 4 presentations. The first one being the lead up, the development of the idea of Muppet Vision. The second being the actual production of the film. The third being execution. How was the whole thing put together physically in a building? And then last but not least, everybody up on stage all at once talking about the impact on their career and the impact on pop culture that Muppet Vision has had over these 30-some-odd years. This is going to be a particularly emotional event because it's a closing. We've had closing events before. Great Movie Ride and Illuminations come to mind, and this, I think, will be probably even more emotional than those were, as we're dealing with the last work of Jim Henson and its final bow. But I think it speaks for how important a moment this is, that Steve is coming, that Bill Prady took time out of his schedule to have us come visit him and film with him. This is something everybody wants to be a part of because it has meant so much to their careers and their lives. And I think obviously for us as fans, it's meant a lot to our lives and memories as well. So Glorious Finale streaming tickets are now, the early bird discount is sadly gone. It is $15 to stream. But again, all proceeds from this event do go to Give Kids the World Village here in Orlando. This is not a profit event. We are just trying to do something very special, and a great way to get these special things to happen is to have them for charity. And so we're very happy to be helping Give Kids the World again, and also be doing this to help a great cause while having the ultimate farewell celebration of Muppet Vision is a super cool thing to do. Another pinch me moment for us at WWNT for sure. We keep doing it somehow. I don't know. These things just fall in our lap over and over again.
The rest of the year, it's pinch me in a bad way, like, oh no. But now when we have these events, it's pinch me. This can't be real.
Man. So that's gloriousfinale.com. Very excited. Right. 2 weeks to go.
See you there.
Hopefully you only have 2 weeks.
You want to do the mail, the viewer mail?
Sure.
I want to have a name for the segment. This is going to be recurring, and you'll be able to email your questions to podcast@wdwnt.com, and we will choose selected emails to answer on the show. I have a couple that have come in. Eric, love the podcast. Quick question. What is the best restaurant at Epcot? Regards, Jason Z.
Well, he asked you.
I figured this is a point of discussion.
I'm teasing.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I think we know what each other are going to say.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's say to each other what we think the other is going to say. I'll start. I think you're going to say Beer Garden.
Well, I think that you're going to say Nine Dragons.
Maybe I would.
Yeah. I do think it's the Beer Garden. I could be persuaded for other restaurants, but I think it's a perfect mix of like a festive, fun cultural environment where you get to kind of experience a sanitized version of like, German culture. The food is good. It's plentiful. It's a buffet, so you don't have to like guess if it's going to be, if it's going to be something that you like. Yeah. So there's kind of something for everyone there. Really good desserts, and you can pile on a few of them, and the band is playing and you get a big beer. And I just think it's a great way to bring, like, especially someone who's like a first timer to Epcot to kind of get that
To
like,
understand
quintessential
it.
feel.
Yeah.
And was yours Nine Dragons?
Atmosphere-wise, there are three that I adore, which would be Beer Garden, Coral Reef, and Garden Grill, because those are so quintessential 80s Epcot. Garden Grill is a spinning restaurant that turns into the ride. It goes through the ride. Coral Reef looks into one of the largest tanks one of the largest aquariums in the world. Was the largest at the time.
Yeah.
And then Beer Garden, you already explained why that's so special. Food-wise, I mean, I don't know that Nine Dragons is the best. That might be my favorite dish at Epcot, the spicy honey chicken. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that I love a lot of the rest of the menu, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but if it hits that one note for you, though,
Yeah.
I mean, why not? And I think you can have something that's your favorite that's not the best. We had this conversation in
Well,
California.
what was the question? Was the best? It's best.
Yeah.
Favorite is Nine Dragons.
Yeah.
Best, Via Napoli, maybe. I mean, the food, the
Yeah.
atmosphere is,
Yeah.
it's very loud and cacophonous in there, but I feel like that's also authentic to any Italian atmosphere.
I'll let you know in about a month.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next. I don't know. Probably Via Napoli. I like Shiki Sai a lot too.
I haven't done Shiki Sai. I missed that day when you guys went and reviewed it.
It was better when I went back with Rosanna for a date a while ago,
say
and we had a
best.
really good meal.
Just say best instead of your favorite, because we had the conversation in California where I said, look, objectively, the Disneyland Hotel is not the best hotel that Disney operates, but it's my favorite. You know what I mean?
It's the contemporary of Disneyland, where it's pretty dated, and there's several versions of it built over each other at this point, and you can see the layers. Mm-hmm. But if you appreciate the history, you get it, and it feels homey and cozy and magical, you know.
Well, I hope that answers your question, Jason. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
We're
By the
real
way,
good at answering
we need
questions.
a name. We need a name for this segment. Like, I don't want to be like mail call or mailbag or something. We got to. The Voices of Literacy. I'll call it that till we come up. Tell us in the comments what we should call our mail segment. Right.
You know what's not the Voices of Literacy? Social media.
Well, that is true. That is true. Dear Eric and Tom, if you could choose a new CEO for Disney and it had to be someone who has never been associated with the company, who would you choose? Sincerely, Dana.
Never associated with the company.
Yeah, well, look, Michael Eisner was not associated with Disney before he became the CEO.
Yeah, but like corporate America.
Bob Iger was ABC.
Corporate America is in such a place that there is no one outside of the company I would feel safe. I mean, look at what's happened with Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Is it Zaslav? Is that his name? Like, that guy has ravaged the company. And that's not, I mean, a company with a legacy, not, no one has Disney's legacy, but Warner Brothers might be the next closest. And so I don't know that there's anyone in corporate America I would, in a million years, want or trust.
There are people who took over things and put a lot of their heart and soul and stuff. Like, this is going to sound very cliche, but like Mark Cuban, when he bought the Dallas Mavericks, like all of a sudden out of pocket. I mean, this is out of pocket because he owned them. Yeah. But this guy took them, built a winning organization. He bought a big, nice private jet for the team to fly on. Like, he seemed to care about like making things nicer and better, and not just trying to scrape every last dime out of it. So I'm not saying Mark Cuban would be. It's a real layup type of choice because he's on TV all the time.
Like a Mark Cuban, where there's someone with a lot of, I mean, it's Disney. They wouldn't have to. It wouldn't have to be like that situation where they come in with a bunch of money. But there has to be someone who understands what Disney is and really loves it. And I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who that is.
I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head if there's like a studio person who's like a big rising star.
No one not connected to Disney in
This
some
is
way, shape, or form.
This is why it's a tough choice. Like, they're not having an easy time choosing a successor.
I think it's Josh tomorrow.
I know that
I think we're back around to that again.
But I think that if it were a slam dunk, we would know that by now.
I don't know. It seemed like it was going to be Dana Walden, but then like I haven't heard a word from her since.
Yeah.
So, and Josh is getting, touted around again. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, touted out. I'm like, yeah, seems like it. And parks, maybe we've reached the point where we realize that it is a park company. Like that's the cash cow. That's the thing that's always going to be the breadwinner. So maybe that should be the focus. Maybe you don't have to have a ton of experience in the studio side. Maybe you just need to be not Bob Chapek. Maybe you just need to be able to maintain relationships enough to let your studio people do their job effectively, and you can be good as CEO.
Well, we failed at answering that question, but
We failed at all of them.
Keep the emails coming.
Keep the voices of literacy alive.
Yes.
And we will continue to not answer your questions.
One more thing before we get going.
What is this?
We have a history on this podcast of testing out various snacks, and I saw
These are not peanut butter.
No, but there's a few snacks I have found. This started because I was in Target in Anaheim and I saw the Hot Ones Pringles. I was like, we should eat those.
You texted me, you're like, I got Hot Ones Pringles. And then 10 minutes later, I got a second text, which was, I've made a mistake.
I did not say that.
Didn't you? Did you?
I think maybe I've made a mistake coming to Anaheim. No. No, I had a good time in Anaheim.
No, I was going to say.
These are not the wildest, craziest thing, but I had never seen them until a couple months ago. Nerds Gummy Clusters. So they're gummy clusters with nerds stuck to the outside.
There's going to be a lot of gummy clusters of nerds tomorrow at the opening of Epic Universe, though.
So these are rainbow flavor. There are a few of these. And I figured we should try these. I'll offer you the first.
Especially in this heat, they're going to be real gummy clusters of nerds tomorrow. We're all going to be melted. They smell good.
Yeah.
Is it just like a Swedish fish? It's like
No,
red?
they're like gummies.
But I think it's going to be like a Swedish fish, though. It's red under there.
Way more flavorful.
Oh, damn.
It's pretty good.
Those are fantastic.
I could crush that bag.
Oh, easy. How bad are they? It's 500 calories for that bag. It'd be worse. I like the crunch of the nerds on the outside, and you get that tartness. And then I like I hate to tell you, it's kind of like a Swedish fish texture and taste on the inside.
I think it's softer than a Swedish fish have a little bit of like.
It's a little less
to them.
chewy.
And they have less flavor. I think a Swedish fish tastes kind of waxy. I like them, but they taste kind of waxy.
Texturally, it's better
These are
than that,
better.
but the flavor is definitely like Swedish fish. I want
Eat another one. Eat another one, then we can talk about Disneyland.
Just some nerds eating nerds.
All right.
These are, what are you giving? You have to give them a score out of 7, no?
Oh, 7.
They're a 7. They are.
These are a 7.
Yeah.
7 nerds out of 7 nerds from the Lambda House and Revenge of the Nerds.
Wow.
It's good.
I did not agree with your review of the dessert at Rancho de Zocalo, though.
We might have gotten a different batch.
That enchilada, the walking taco,
It was a tamale, but
or whatever. The walking
Whatever.
taco. It also was called a walking taco, and
it
it
was on a
wasn't a
plate.
thing you could walk with.
right,
The walking taco enchilada
right.
was a 7. You gave that a 7, I assume.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was fantastic.
But I really liked that dessert too. And it could have been, look, this is the first time we've eaten together since like the morning of
River Bell Terrace.
Yeah, at River Bell Terrace.
Yeah.
So I've eaten a million things on camera without you. I was lonely.
Yeah.
I cried a little. I didn't have you to like counterbalance me.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I was completely alone. There was a time when Chuck was helping me.
Yeah.
Then I was completely alone for about 5 or 6 locations. And then Nana helped me the next day, and then Allie helped me the following day. And Rancho del Zocalo, I was like, oh, first of all, I was captivated by the chocolate-covered Fritos that were topping that dessert.
If that was
At
the
the
dessert,
Casa de Fritos,
if
come
they
on.
just
Yeah.
made a bag
Yeah.
of those. For those that don't know, I think we've had this conversation on here before. Maybe when Paris introduced the...
Maybe.
Because Paris now has a food kiosk that is an homage to this. Disneyland used to have a restaurant in Frontierland called Casa de Fritos, which is famously where the Dorito was born.
Right.
That's where it came from. But Casa de Fritos had Frito the Kid, and he would yell to this prospector guy you wouldn't see named Klondike for another bag of golden chips of corn. And he'd yell, coming right up, and it would come down the chute, and it's a very famous thing, and it was in the earlier days of the Disney online community, it was not a thing like Orange Bird in the beginning. It was not a thing a lot of people knew about. Right. And then as time has worn on, more people have found out about it. And so for the 70th, they've leaned into the history of Casa de Fritos. At the media event, they leaned into it more because we actually got like Fritos in a bag that said Casa de Fritos on it. Yeah. Which I think is wild because that didn't actually happen in real life. It only happened at the media event.
Like a lot of things that happen at the media event
don't
happen in real life.
Yeah. Looking at you, Epic Universe, right now. Although those dragons didn't come out. What happened to your flying dragons, huh? Anyway. If only someone had predicted all of this on a podcast several months ago. Anyway. So yeah, they had the walking taco, which had Fritos on top of it. But then also the dessert had chocolate-covered Fritos in homage to Casa de Fritos.
And I haven't watched the review, but I thought that was thoughtful, right? Hey, it's a little throwback to the Casa de Fritos. It got chocolate-covered Fritos on top. The thing tasted good to me. I was, and then I went and had just the worst Disneyland churro ever. Their 70th ube and blue raspberry icing. Awful. Then I went straight to Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree, and they brought me right back with the funnel cake fries. Peach funnel cake fries.
Maybe people should just go watch this.
I know you should watch it, but I will say that doing it by yourself sometimes you screw up, and I screwed up, and one of the videos didn't turn out.
Oh.
So I had to have. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if Charlie did it right, but I recorded the audio. My last review of the day was the pineapple upside down cake Dole Whip at Tropical Hideaway.
Yeah.
And I had him. You could see me reach for the camera and I'm either turning it on or turning it off, but that was all the footage we had. So what I asked him to do was to freeze it and do the record scratch. And you're probably wondering how I ended up like this. And then I think that's all B-roll. But other than that, I only screwed up one out of however many items.
You did good.
It's not bad considering the way that the day started of you coming up and saying, "Tell me you have a micro SD card."
Yeah, that was my.
Me saying no, but I have a camera in the locker.
Yeah, I mean this is what happens when you're not home for months on end. Your brain starts to go. But yeah, for a number of reasons. Number one was I had to go to that wedding, so I wasn't going to be there the whole weekend. Number two was I had just eaten at Epic Universe for 7 days in a row. And then also we're going to be back on the Epic Universe food review binge starting tomorrow. So I needed a moment to... Also, I ended up reviewing a buffet in the middle of that anyway. So it wasn't a super healthy weekend, but more so than it could have been.
And I'm going through some dietary things. So it was all a big, fun, weird... weekend.
But before we get too much into Disneyland 70, we should intro our first clip we have.
We're going to take you back to 1955 when Tom and I helped open Disneyland. Roll the clip.
Very old. Tom and Eric here for WDWNT at the kickoff of Disneyland's 70th anniversary. We're celebrating Happy with Mark. Mark, thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you for having me. We're just a few feet away from where Walt Disney gave his dedication speech for Disneyland Parks and the world. To all who come to this happy place, welcome. And it's just really exciting to think about the history that's built in as we celebrate 7 decades of an idea of where parents and children are able to spend time together and have as much fun, and age doesn't seem to exist here. Yeah. And today, we celebrate not only just Disneyland Park, but we celebrate Disney California Adventure Park, our resort hotels, and our downtown Disney district.
Absolutely.
It's very exciting to celebrate this legacy of 70 years of this amazing park that has really been sort of the cornerstone of this whole theme park industry, the flag bearer, if you will, for really the elevated theme park experience throughout the world that's created such amazing experiences for millions of people over the years.
And we get to be Art Linkletter today, which is pretty cool.
I love how you actually called it out that Disneyland Park set the standard as a global icon around the world for not only just the entertainment industry, but the theme parks that you see around the world.
Absolutely. Mark, and you've been a part of that legacy as an ambassador.
Thank you.
What's it like to be a part of that? Not 70 years of ambassador, but 60 years of ambassador history at Disneyland Resort. Starting with Julie Ream
Yeah.
many years ago. What's it like to be a part of that tradition?
Oh, it is so remarkable to get to serve in a role where you represent so many cast members. For us here at Disneyland, we have over 37,000 cast members where they get to make the Disney dream happen and live in the legacy that Walt Disney once had, which was a dream, and now we get to make it into a reality.
I just want to ask, what are you most excited for during the 70th?
Honestly, it's the anthem of the celebration, Celebrate Happy, performed by the Jonas Brothers.
Are you a big Jonas fan?
I love the Jonas Brothers.
It's great.
We have so much already that we've been sharing with our audience for some of the events and things that are happening, and I can't wait to see the rest of this celebration.
And hear that song 500 more times. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
For all of you at home, don't forget to visit Disneyland.com and come join us here for the happiest celebration at the happiest place on earth.
And there you have it. Us with a former Disneyland ambassador on top of the train station at 3:40 a.m. No, a little later, because Tom and I got there at 3:40 a.m. You like those nerds.
Didn't have these in 1955.
Right. But we got there at like 3:40 a.m. was our assigned media time, because they would put us on the same schedule as or on the same rotation as TV stations and stuff like that.
Typically, these live spots, or they can be live.
Yeah.
Typically, these spots are meant for TV stations.
Full crew. I don't know how many people, but lots. People miking us up. I'm used to just putting on my own microphone.
The most incredible production crew I've witnessed in my life, because they're churning through all these different outlets, and someone's and it didn't seem like they were fully prepared. No one told them we would need so we were not filming with our own equipment. We were using the Disney equipment, and they were ready. And someone's like, "Oh, they need 2 mics," and within seconds, miraculously, these guys had mics, and they were already putting them on us, even though that is not something they had done for the 10 people that had gone before us. They were really amazing.
That was cool. And just very quickly, we did not take video of this. It was kind of a sacred moment, which is we got there, they weren't ready for us, and we got to walk around Disneyland at 3:45 in the morning with not nobody there, but
almost nobody.
an almost empty Disneyland, where the only people there were the guy hosing down the street and the ducks that were playing in the gutter, swimming in the water from when he was hosing off the street, the little baby ducks.
It's out of one of those specials, all those TV specials. They're you won't believe what happens at Disneyland overnight, and it's this guy whistling and washing down the street. But while he's washing down the street, the duck and the ducklings are playing in the stream.
Right, the gutter has a little current, right? So they're running up to it and riding the current down and getting back in. It's their favorite attraction at Disneyland is the gutter.
Yeah.
The curb. I don't know what you call it, but right there along the street. So I thought I'll never forget that.
The gutter is also one of the slides at Volcano Bay, I believe.
And I will also never forget.
Goes down I-4.
I don't know if we want to talk too much about the media event itself, but people complained about it online. They did block off Fantasyland for the people with media credentials at 4 p.m. on a park operating day. And we went in there and they had a whole party set up. I mean, open bar, food everywhere. But the thing I remember the most is they're playing Chapel Roan, Hot to Go, and all the characters are on the carousel whipping around. There's Snow White and Dopey, and there's a DJ playing Chapel Roan. I mean, that to me was incredible. Then I was like, okay, Tom, I have to have a picture of me drinking a beer in the Mr. Toad motor car. Then you got one. And then we were able to ride every Fantasyland dark ride in 15 minutes.
Almost all.
Except Alice, because on the way to Alice, we bumped into the new president of Disneyland and proceeded to have
Thomas Maslin.
A 20-minute conversation with him.
Yeah, he had a real. He had a sweet story about when he was young.
Yeah,
they took a family trip from Europe, and he went there, and he had this surreal moment where now I'm. How did things happen in life where now I'm the president of Disneyland Resort? It's a pretty crazy thing, and it has to be. But he kept repeating the weight of the job.
Yeah,
which I would hope anyone who gets that job feels the weight of it, because that's Walt's park.
Right.
So you have Walt Disney's legacy in your hands, but he seems ready for it. I'm ready to see what this regime at Disneyland looks like. He's only a couple, was he 7 weeks in?
Yeah,
Something like that?
7 weeks
It's
in.
very short amount of time. So obviously you're not seeing any of that impact.
Very nice guy. We'll see what happens out
Yeah.
at Disneyland, but very nice
very
guy, very
effective in
excited
his
for the
time at
job.
Signature Experiences, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, cruise lines have always been run pretty well, so.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you're going to have an era of unprecedented expansion projects, I think he's going to be able to handle it.
I'll see if Billy can put a photo of the three of us in the video.
Did we get a picture?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. You must have.
We can also
your
put that little video. I did take a video of the carousel with all the characters.
Yeah.
But I don't think Chaperone's playing it this. It's a DJ. It's just
I think
a boom
I
and
have
beat,
it.
bump and beat. Yeah.
I have a full walk-in
Yeah.
to Chapel Roan, like
Yours might
walking
be
in and
better
then the
than mine,
carousel
yeah.
going. Yeah.
Get us demonetized, but I don't care. It was awesome.
I care.
Yeah. And then we went back to what you would think would be really good seats for Paint the Night and for Tapestry of Happiness.
We're really jammed in there.
And we were really jammed in there. Really ended up being a very negative experience for me. I think you managed to kind of squirt out of there and find a better
Yeah.
spot than me. I was stuck in a very bad spot.
I was lucky enough to be behind Paging Mr. Morrow, who is
He's very nice.
the sweetest person I've met in 18 years of doing this. And legit, like, no, look, this is going to sound mean. I'm going to piss some people off, but oh well. It's kind of what I do. A lot of people at the media event are not kind to the people around them. So, if you think regular guests are bad, like imagine a bunch of people trying to film something for their own content. People generally will just put phones and devices up in other people's faces, over their heads, etc. It's a bad environment. And it's not exclusive. I'm not saying Disney influencers and Disney vloggers and Disney news sites are exclusive there, because I know when we did D23, I saw people from IGN and all these other big places and news organizations do the same thing. And I'm like, why are you all like this? But to Nate's credit, he looks back at me, he goes, am I blocking you? They're not at all. Well, thank you for asking. But he's holding it, he's doing the right thing. He's holding it at eye height, which I'm doing the same thing behind him. And if we all do that, it'll all be okay. We'll all get what we need.
I'm not going to say any names, but we were not observing the hold your phone at eye height where I was. A pretty notable person who I'm not going to name.
I'm going to eat this.
Not only was holding it above
cloth
eye height, but was standing in front of me and had a phone on a stick and like gimbal, arm fully extended, 100% blocking my view. So most of my footage was worthless. And honestly, that also happened at World of Color.
Don't do that as a guest, and don't do it as media.
Right.
Eye level. The camera is to be eye level, and if eye level with your camera doesn't look good, you don't need to film it. It's out there on the internet. You should watch it. You're there.
And I would say
go
even
watch it.
my video of Wondrous Journeys, if you watch our video on this channel, Wondrous Journeys, it has a lot of phones in it. It's the best we could do from where we were, right? It was, sometimes you do the best you can. Anyway, I don't know how we want to recap the 70th, though, to begin to get into it. I think chronologically, the first event was Better Together. Is that right? The Pixar
Yeah, we started.
parade.
DCA basically was first in the media event lineup. Can we go reverse?
Yeah.
You've already mentioned Paint the Night and all that. Can we start at Disneyland? Because then, we have a
Oh,
special.
yeah, because we have more footage.
Yeah, we have a special Paint the Night clip, though.
Yeah.
We got to have an interview in a very special location, and we can show that to you right now. We're here at Unit from Disney Live Entertainment and costuming.
Yeah.
More on that in a second, but tell us a little bit about Paint the Night, and then please tell us about the wonderful Mag.
I know, right? We are so excited. Paint the Night is returning as part of the 70th celebration. It's my personal favorite. It's one of the many nighttime spectaculars that you can see as part of the celebration. And yeah, there are so many characters from Pixar, from Disney, from all of your favorites. And yeah, we're standing in front of Mac, which is just the coolest foot, my personal
None
favorite.
better than Mac, right?
Yeah.
Eric
Right, buddy?
loves Mag.
I'm
Yeah.
a big Mac fan.
Yay, me too. Yeah.
Also a Big Mac fan.
So Mac is a 54-foot long truck. He is the largest the largest float on the route. He has over 24 moving lights as part of one of the spectacles. And also inside here is this gorgeous 3D dimensional effect. Really creates this visual illusion. And there are over 27,000 individual light bulbs, there's orbs in there, that just continue to create all these new patterns, sync with the music, sync with the story. It's just a feast for the eyes. Yeah.
It's clear everyone is so excited to have Paint the Night back.
Yeah.
The crowd last night was just packed of people that couldn't wait. And I'm sure for many weeks to come, it's going to be, sold out, so to speak.
Exactly.
Must see TV.
And then you have to come back. When can we do this again?
Yeah,
you got to
right.
just come back and see it and catch all the details. So we have so many floats that are coming as part of this parade. We have 8 units, including Toy Story, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, but of course, one of my favorites is Mac from Cars. And he is just gorgeous with all of his LED lightings and neon details. See, they're lit up right there.
Wow.
So, just in the magic right
It's
there.
incredible.
Yeah.
Mac is an incredible, all the floats are incredible in this
Yeah.
show, but Mac,
I
He's
know.
our favorite.
Here you are.
our
He's
favorite.
right here. Big
Hey,
smile.
buddy.
Yeah.
Now there's 4 of us talking. We're 4 old friends.
He's winking. He's winking at you.
This is a float, but just as important in the parade, performers and their costuming.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about doing the costuming for Paint the Night.
Oh, sure. So costuming for Paint the Night is extra special, obviously, because every costume has its own LED lights incorporated into the design. Every dancer in every unit syncs with the entire float. So each unit kind of syncs on its own with beautiful colors and different techniques and kind of special effects to illuminate it. We have over 70 performers in the parade. We have so many characters as well. Characters also have their own light up costumes. And costumes for Paint the Night is honestly like nothing else. We work really closely with our lighting design team, our technicians. There's a lot of thought and care that goes into how we put the lights in, how they tell the story. We have some new costumes this year. So as Anna and Elsa are returning, we're so excited about them. They're atop our fractal frozen float. They're also accompanied by these new snowflake dancers, beautiful sparkling lights. So we're just excited to bring all this new energy and some of our fan favorites back as part of the 70th celebration.
Do you have a particular favorite? I know it's like picking a child, but do you have a particular favorite costume?
Oof. Favorite costume. I am really excited about our new snowflake dancers, but I think that Mickey on top of the finale, in his sorcerer's look, he's all glowing. I'm literally getting goosebumps right now, just like remembering it and seeing last night with all the fans. We're just so excited it's back.
And we're excited too. When can we do this again now?
Aha.
Finally now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks guys.
That was incredible.
To go into the Disneyland Parade Warehouse is neat. Like I knew that was on the agenda, and I was like, oh, that'll be worth waking up at 3 o'clock. That ended up being the runner-up to the next thing we're going to show later. But that was for me going in. I was like, I cannot wait
To meet Mac,
Yeah.
to
to stand that close to it and walk alongside, it was really neat.
that was so cool. And they had the little dolly shot set up so they
Yeah.
could walk along with us.
That's the best float in the parade.
That is
Fight me.
that is my favorite float in any Disney parade, but I haven't been to Tokyo. But it is my
still might be my
favorite float in any
Still
Disney
great.
parade. Is Mac.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, but did you see Lightning what about like Lightning McQueen? It's not a float, but there's a Lightning McQueen. And I go, there was a Lightning McQueen?
You
'Cause
didn't
that's
see
how bad
any-
my seats at Paint the Night were.
You didn't
or
see
my
anything
spot.
that was lower than Mac. I don't
No,
think. Yeah, so
no.
you saw no dancers.
There was a tree. There were
Yeah.
tree limbs above me and people in front of me as far as I could see.
Did you go see it again after that?
No,
Oh, you
because
didn't go. Okay.
because when I was eating all the food,
Yeah.
I bumped into Nana, and Nana was saving a spot for Paint the Night. But by the time I got done with the food, there was no spot for Paint the Night, and I was like, "Well, I guess that's my signal to go to DCA and find Allie and Kevin and have a beer."
Yeah.
So that's what I did when Paint the Night.
Well,
was
it'll
happening.
be there the next year or so.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you get a good spot next
Oh, I'm
time.
going back.
I had to fight. I don't even know if I want to get into this on the show. Last night, tried to see. It was way more crowded Monday and Tuesday than it was the kickoff days,
Yeah.
which I did not expect. So we went last night. There's a sign at the entrance of Disneyland. They've put a sign out, and the sign says you cannot wait more than 2 hours for any of the entertainment. So you can't start parking.
Can you imagine
in
if
a
they did that in
spot.
Tokyo?
I think if they did it in Tokyo, people would follow it. But nonetheless, in Tokyo, you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And I'm going to talk about that in a second because we had a very typical Disneyland crowd experience last night. So it's very crowded. We show up like 20 minutes before the first paint night. We know we're not getting a spot. But I decide, well, if it's this bad, if we want to see wondrous journeys from back here from Small World, by Small World.
Yeah.
If we want to watch that at Small World and have a parade spot for the next one, then after this parade is over, we're going to have to swoop it, like follow the crowd in
Yeah.
and get the spot. Now, obviously, you would think in a world where you can't wait 2 hours, you can't stand in a spot more than 2 hours before the thing, then the crowd from the parade should leave and then a new crowd should come in. That did not really happen. It did and it didn't. I'd say like a quarter of the crowd left. And then there were people who watched the first parade who decided to simply stand up and turn around and watch fireworks, and then they were just going to turn around again and watch the parade again, which doesn't really feel fair in a world where you've put out a sign that says you can't line up more than 2 hours in advance of anything.
Sure.
Because really, at that point, you are there more than 2 hours in advance for the second parade when you've already watched the first one. And that means no one who didn't go to the first one really could see the second one.
But asking the crowd at Disneyland, forgive me, to be considerate of other people is totally like pointless. You should not even try that because it doesn't work. I love Disneyland. I love a lot of people out there, but they will all tell you to a person that politeness and consideration of others is not part of the deal down there.
No. So that leads into the story. So I remember pre-COVID, if you asked me like my favorite Disney parks to go to, Disneyland was pretty low on the list, and people would ask me why, and I'd say the guests.
Yeah.
I had a lot of anxiety about going to see entertainment at Disneyland because for many years, for the 10 years at that point I had been going to Disneyland, I probably have a dozen stories of waiting far in advance of entertainment, following the rules, and then for no reason getting in a fight with other guests because they did something obnoxious.
Right.
And so I just stopped kind of lining up for stuff at that point. And what I would do is just stand in the back because I was like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to fight with anybody. I don't need to fight with anybody. And also, being an online personality that the world, plenty of people in the world are already out to get, the last thing I need in the world is someone filming me having an interaction with the guest, which isn't, again, like I would never use any derogatory language or anything, but people don't really care.
Yeah.
So Disneyland has been very light on entertainment, I would say, in the post-COVID world. And so that part of the experience kind of hasn't existed for a while. Now you have a Disneyland that is almost back at full force entertainment-wise. There's a nighttime parade, there's a daytime parade back at DCA, there's a projection show, there's
Cavalcade.
Fireworks that people want to see, there's the Cavalcade. It's kind of almost back, missing one daytime parade really, but almost back at full force. And so the locals and guests are back in full force to watch stuff. And so the first parade ends and we, follow the crowd and we go, there's a brick line near Small World, which is the edge of the route. And so I look for space for 2 people on the brick line that also looks at Small World so we could watch Wondrous Journeys from there and the projection show, which we'll talk about in a moment. And so we go and stand there and we're standing and we're not touching anybody. We're not even, I would say we have a foot or 2 between us and people, which is an adequate amount of space, I think, in the world of watching entertainment at Disneyland. And so we're standing there, and then a woman turns around and goes, "Oh, you're not going to stand there for the parade, are you? Like that's our parade spot." And I go, "Well, I'm standing here because it was open space, so yes, we plan on watching the parade from here." And she goes, "Oh, well, you can't. I have more people coming." And I go, "Well, that's too bad."
Oh, no.
And she goes, "Excuse me?" And I go, "Well, that's too bad because this is open space and I stood here. You don't have anything holding it. You're not standing in it. And it was an adequate amount of space for me to stand in without touching you. Like I'm not even near you." And she decides, then the family gets very committed. We've been here for 4 hours. And I go, you're not allowed to wait 4 hours.
Right.
That's not a thing that's allowed per the sign at the entrance of Disneyland. And so she goes, I again, no derogatory language. I'm not calling anyone names. I'm just stating facts that this space was open. I've stood in it. I've been here for a couple minutes now. It's not my fault you didn't realize that you relinquished space. Enough time has passed. You didn't immediately, the moment I stood here, begin this discussion. And so I said, well, if you'd like to get a cast member, we let them decide whatever's going to happen. So the cast member comes over and says, they've been waiting 4 hours and you've only been waiting 15 minutes. That doesn't seem fair. And I go, well, the sign outside of the park says you're not allowed to wait that long for this. It says 2 hours in advance. So as your sign asked, I am here 2 hours before the show, and I grabbed spaces along the parade route, and I've been here for several minutes now, and they're throwing a temper tantrum about this. And so he's like, oh, but there's better spots anyway. And I was like, oh, okay, but I'm in this one. Like, I'm already here. And so he shows me another spot eventually, and I don't want to have a fight with people.
Yeah, just
and then, again, the way I'm talking to you right now is the way I'm speaking, and I'm being very calm. And the people next to us are like, oh, we'd like you to move, you're making us uncomfortable. Because we're having a discussion about the sidewalk space that is adjacent to you? Like, I don't understand. Like, lady, when I was here Friday, someone had a churro thrown at their face and security was called. Do you think this is an unreasonable, like, people
weren't
can
filming?
have a conversation. We missed it. It was too far away from us. We heard about it in the aftermath. But apparently someone, like, squeezed into a space where people actually were sitting on the ground and, like, stuck their feet and were touching them. And then the people were like, you can't stand there. They got upset and threw the churro at them and then ran away. And all I'm doing is having a conversation, which is like, but I followed the rules, and I'm being told the rules I was asked to follow are invalid. And I don't appreciate that. And so we moved anyway. We ended up having a great spot for both things, but it was a typical, like, oh, we came here specifically for this. Yeah, you and the rest
To
of
watch
the
it
park,
twice,
but you've seen it already.
Yeah.
Like, there are rules posted outside. So I would say Disneyland operations needs to do a better job of training their cast members to understand if that sign is not real, if that sign is only there to stop people from lining up before the first one, which I get. I understand you don't want people parked on the parade route all day.
Hey, 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I understand that, but it doesn't say that. It says before any offering, and so that stands for the second parade and Wondrous Journeys and everything else in between. And so you need to either reword that sign, because it's not fair that I'm sure we were not the only guests who followed the rules and showed up 2 hours before, only to know that, well, everybody who already watched the parade is just standing in their space continually and is not going to relinquish it, and you're out of luck because you followed the rules. I'd appreciate that. And right away to throw in the guest's face that they've been here 4 hours, you've been here 15 minutes. Well, actually, I've already been here an hour because I stood behind the other parade to follow your rules to move into a space when the time was right. So I don't know. Just it left a sour taste in my mouth, which parking for Disneyland Entertainment always does. It never fails.
Yeah.
Every anniversary celebration of Disneyland I've ever been to, I have multiple stories like this, and it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm not even going to bother anymore. Yeah. If I happen to eventually get a dessert party or a Plaza Inn dining package or whatever, then that's great. I'll have a great view. But if not, I'm just going to go up behind people, because the entitled Southern California crowd is not worth arguing. It's also like, oh, we came here specifically for this. Like, not to be that guy, but you live here. Yeah. Like, and there are foreign tourists. I feel real bad. There are foreign tourists. I saw foreign tourists, on the parade route from all different places, Europe and Asia and everywhere in between, and beyond. And I saw them at the parade route, and they all ended up second or third row when they followed the rules too. Yeah. And I'm like, these local people who watch the first parade really need to fight with everyone to keep their space. And these people that traveled the world to be here can't see this up close when they're following the sign that was placed out front. But a sign that's not in their first language, by the way. Yeah. So it's operationally, look, if you're going to put that sign out front, I'm going to tell you an unpopular thing you need to do. And that unpopular thing is you need to sweep the parade route. You're not going to do it. It's never going to happen.
Right.
And Rosanna said to me, she's like, why don't we go to
Don't
guest
count on
relations and
people's
say something? I
goodwill.
said, I'm not going to go say it at guest relations because you know what's going to happen? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
No one at guest relations is going to forward to management that, oh, they think we should sweep the parade route and enforce the rule that we've posted outside the park. It's not going to happen. I just think if you're going to bother posting that sign, then you have to adhere to it. And if you're not, don't bother putting it up to begin with.
At Universal, you ask them to sweep the parade route, it means something totally different. Right? Like, there's garbage on the street. This problem is not unique to California, right?
It seems more prevalent.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just walking down the streets in Disneyland and DCA, the amount of people that will see you and passively aggressively stop and turn and take a drink and pretend like they never saw you to get in your way, it's totally insane. But I will tell you, talk to people that work at places like California Grill, there's always a justification for entitlement, and they can be diametrically opposed to one another. So anybody who goes to California Grill expects to be seated in the the four tables right by the window, and everybody gets pissed off when they're not.
Yeah.
And they'll either say, I come here every visit. You guys need to get me a better table. Or they'll say, I've never been here before. We made this
spent my
reservation
life savings
6 months
to be
ago
here."
just to do this.
Yeah.
And either way, you're like, look, there's only so many seats by the window. Everybody's welcome to go outside to watch the fireworks and all that kind of stuff. You're never going to make everyone happy.
And I'm not telling anyone to be unreasonable to cast members. Like, that's number one. Like, I at no point raised my voice or said anything uncalled for to that cast member. I had a conversation with them, which was, I'm following the rules on the sign that are outside. And he said, oh well to me, basically. Like, he basically said, oops, and then walked away. And I'm like, that's not resolving anything for anyone.
I mean, if you really wanted to be a jerk, when they said, you're making me uncomfortable, you should have said, well, then you should leave. Sorry.
Oh.
Anyway, do we want to talk about Paint the Night?
We can now.
Where do we even
now
start?
Now that I've put us on a sour note in classic WDWNT fashion.
Yeah, we're way out.
But
of
this
bounds
is your
now.
first time. I want to hear your
My
thoughts.
first Paint the Night, and obviously the tone is set with the Tapestry of Happiness, and I don't know if you want to talk about that first or whatever, but because it comes first, and I thought
Doesn't in regular operations. It doesn't.
Oh well, they showed it first for us. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about paint first.
I loved it. I love Paint the Night. I read the comments on our video, and all the locals were really angry that they put the new 70th song at the end of Paint the Night. But everything else, like, what are you going to complain about with Paint the Night? Someone's like, oh, there's such and such costume is missing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, obviously a catchy song. I'm very familiar with the song because we play it at the end of News Tonight. Ish.
Yeah, we used to every week. Yeah. Before Piano Rob.
Yeah, and so it lived up to expectations, right? That's about the right amount of time for a parade for me.
Yeah.
Like, and it hit all the notes.
It's like 25 minutes ish.
Yeah, something like that.
30, 25, yeah.
And it was spaced out quite a bit though. I mean,
It's Disneyland.
there were some big gaps there. But the Mac parade float makes it all worthwhile. Look, the Frozen one is cool. The giant drum was pretty cool. And Slinky Dog is cool. And whatever weird spinning mechanism they have behind Sorcerer Mickey is captivating. Watch that video and try to figure out in your brain exactly how that thing works. Because if we couldn't have seen Mac, that would have been a cool float to see.
The Amoeba
backstage.
or whatever.
Whatever. I don't know what.
I've heard people call it all different things. No one knows what to call it.
It looked like something out of the Matrix, or I don't know.
It was very cool.
It was very cool, or Transformers.
Here, the best thing I could say is when we just went to Japan, it was Rosanna's first time, and so we saw Tokyo Disneyland Electrical Parade Dreamlights a few times, which is magnificent. It's very long and beautiful and wonderful and amazing. The highest praise I could say is she was still in tears for Paint the Night. So the fact that you can come off of the bigger, badder, better version and still feel things for Paint the Night speaks volumes to how good Paint the Night is. It's a wonderful parade. Totally different vibe. I think Electrical Parade wasn't an emotional thing. It was always kind of party atmosphere a little bit. And Paint the Night's like that. And then Spectra was the opposite, where it's this big sweeping orchestral score and it's very emotional. And Dreamlights is like that. And they're the two different, I think there's the two ends of the spectrum are Dreamlights and Spectra Magic and Electrical Parade and Paint the Night. And both are great.
Yeah. I feel like it wasn't a tearjerker for me. I just thought it was beautiful, and it was great to be there in it in the moment.
Yeah.
And even though I was really frustrated with the crowd and the leaving to go to the fireworks afterwards and trying to fight people down that roadway. I mean, not fight people. I was trying to be.
Yeah.
I'm very like non-confrontational when it comes to this stuff in the parks because I just don't. It's not. None of it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
If somebody
No,
was going
it's
to be
not.
mad at me for being there at all, I would go stand on Main Street. I don't care. I will disappear. But I thought it was great, but I did get. The one that'll hit your heartstrings, I think, is the Tapestry of Happiness, and that's very short.
Yeah. The highlight of the 70th for me is Tapestry of Happiness. So for those that don't know, there's a 5-minute long projection show on It's a Small World, which is to the song, the Celebrate Happy song with the Jonas Brothers. But in between, there's music from almost every
They weave
Disneyland attraction.
They weave that same song into all these other melodies, which is very creatively done.
It's wonderful. There's a lot of little hidden things to look for. There's a rocket rod.
Yeah.
Rocket rods is in it. Also, then
Skyway,
did you
People
see
Mover.
Mary Blair and Raleigh
Yeah.
Crump? I
Yeah.
love that at the end. It's very cute. It is everything. But the thing I kept hearing that Rosanna said and a lot of people around us said was, why was that not the full nighttime show? Why was the full nighttime show not that, like a celebration of 70 years of the park?
Right.
And then I, of course, being, Mr. Doom and Gloom, say, well, you can never have that again because we live in the age of IP where all the nighttime shows have to be driven by movies and
most
television.
recent.
And that's the truth. But I think it's nice that every so often something like this squeaks through. Right? And we're talking about Epic Universe a lot. It's nice that things like Captain Cacao snuck through because the rest of that park it's IP. It's an IP park. It's not original.
An original character.
Yeah, an original
for a
character
candy shop
in an
the park.
original land, and the store is beautiful, and he's cute, and it's great.
Yeah.
And then Tapestry of Happiness is that, where it's like this is the age of IP and movie infusion, and Disneyland got to get this cute 5-minute show that's very emotional.
And
for
it's about
people,
Disneyland.
That's about Disneyland, and it's custom made, and it's wonderful. And it'll definitely, no matter who you are and what your favorite attractions are, it's going to hit you.
It would be nice if they would also project it on the castle so that people aren't coming all the way down there and cramming into that It's a Small World area because that area is not big enough to share that show with everyone.
But it
so I
runs a
realize the
lot.
castle doesn't work very well for that, but I think something on there to keep people away from, keep the traffic going, it might have worked.
Yeah.
Heck, they could do it all up and down Main Street if they really wanted
They
to.
could, but I'm sure there's a reason they want to do it at Small World. It also runs several times a night, so my tip would be don't go at peak times. There's 2 towards the end of the night. Also, if you end up getting a Paint the Night spot after, disagreeing with people, you can stand there and watch it from there too.
Yeah.
While you wait for the second Paint the Night to come. It's a wonderful show. Love it. Kudos to everyone involved. I love the art, the Mary Blair art style, the trip through Disneyland, past and present. Using the theme song. It's the most effective use of that theme song. I do advocate to be that guy. I agree with people about it being jammed into Paint the Night. It has no place in it. It's not in the same style as the rest of the parade, so it just feels like someone changed the radio station in the middle of Paint the Night.
So I'm not defending or against it. I just noticed that was in a lot of the comments, and as someone who had never been to Paint the Night before, since I didn't really know what else it was, I was just kind of like, it's the end of the show.
Yeah.
I would say the Tapestry of Happiness. If you want to compare the Disney World 50th to the Disneyland 70th, and we could do this later, I'm sure we will, would be. I think it was an unexpected surprise, kind of like the Beacons of Light were an unexpected surprise for the Disney World 50th, right? It's the thing that they're talking all about enchantment and harmonious and all this stuff, but the thing that people really connected with was the Beacons of Magic, and I think the same kind of thing with Tapestry of Happiness is sort of the forgotten piece that ended up being a highlight.
Also in that same vein, remember when Animal Kingdom started being open at night? And they're like, we have a new show, Rivers of Light. And everyone's like, yeah, I can't wait. And everyone was like, oh.
Oh, no.
But then you walked by the Tree of Life Awakenings, were like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Similar thing there, too, where it stole the show.
Right. Who knew? Right? Because if you look at, and we'll get into more of these, but if you look at If you want to compare Disney World 50th, we got Harmonious, we got Enchantment, we got Kite Tales, and we got the Beacons of Magic, basically, right? We didn't get a parade.
Cavalcade.
We got Cavalcade.
Which Disneyland?
We got a new float on the back of the a literal float on the back of the electrical water pageant with the 50th logo on it at Disney World.
Didn't they just put more lights on them?
I thought it was its
They
own
was on
little
the
barge,
existing
but
barges, weren't they?
I don't remember.
I thought so.
But nevertheless, you could say, look, we got 3 new shows at Disney World for the 50th, and really at Disneyland they really got 2, right? They got World of Color, Happiness, and they got Tapestry, and they got a Cavalcade. But I mean, so they brought back a parade, and you can complain that it's like a recycled parade, but honestly, it's a great parade, and there's no
Look at
reason
the
not to
crowds
bring it back.
already,
People
like,
love that
it
parade and for
worked.
good reason. It
Yeah.
worked, and people were dying to have that back.
And
then-
Wondrous, people love Wondrous Journeys too.
yeah, I think Wondrous Journeys is great.
Yeah. Is this going to be? Look, this is not the Disneyland 50th. It's not the Disneyland 60th.
70th.
Both of those are events that you will remember, forever. Not that you won't remember the 70th forever, but those are 2 real special moments in Disneyland's history. This is kind of this is just a stop along the way.
It's a round number we got to celebrate.
Yeah.
75 will be a bigger
Like
deal. I think.
65 didn't happen.
Yeah.
Here's 70. 75 is a big anniversary, and so
Yeah.
we'll see what that one ends up being. But I think for what the 70th is, I don't think it's one to skip. I think Paint the Night has been gone so long that it's a rare opportunity to see it. Better Together is still fairly new. It's nice that it's running again. The Tapestry show is great. We'll talk about World of Color in a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the decor is great. The Vault, got to talk about merchandise again. The Vault collection's back. The highlight of Walt Disney World's 50th
Might have been the Vault.
was the Vault collection. Might have been.
Well, and
I think it was.
Beacons of Magic.
I still think as a fan,
Spaceship Earth.
Yeah. The Vault collection was the highlight for us. It was the most, anything was in tune with what we wanted for the anniversary.
Right. I feel like why people didn't like why the Walt Disney World 50th wasn't as well received as they had hoped was because it felt like it lacked a connection with why people love this place. But the Vault collection understood. Like they got the assignment. They understood the assignment.
And Disneyland, now I will say with Tapestry of Happiness and some of the other things like the Magic Band interactions and some of that stuff, Disneyland understood the assignment better. But the Vault collection again, we've only scratched the surface. It's the first wave of stuff, but it's really cool stuff.
Some of
They
it's
did a
pretty
nice
good.
job.
Some of it's pretty good.
Yeah, that Small World clock and what else? I'm trying to think of the other cool
clock,
items. That Walt notebook, the little
Those
portfolio.
sweatshirts. The little floaty pens.
Oh, the T-shirt with the Mickey googly eyes.
Googly eyed Mickey.
Oh, the floaty pens. Yeah, where the vehicle moves down the pen.
I can't be sure, but I want to say when I was a kid, I had a googly-eyed Mickey shirt.
It was an existing item.
Yeah.
My favorite, though, you saw me look at this several times. The chocolate bar.
The chocolate bar.
They
Oh, God.
remade the almond chocolate bar. It's in the old wrapper. I remember this because I didn't grow up going to Disneyland, but we had it at Disney World. That wrapper existed at Disney World, and so I saw that on the shelf, and I freaked out. And lo and behold, I spent probably 10 minutes going through a rack of candy bars looking for the most pristine wrapper, and I protected that with my well-being on the plane ride home today because I needed.
He made it home.
He made it in one piece. It's in beautiful shape. I'm going to keep that candy bar forever. I love it.
You could put it with the chocolate ET in the freezer in the other room.
We do have a chocolate ET from Universal.
I don't
in the
actually
freezer
know if
in the
he's
other
still
room.
there, but I think he's there.
still there. I still have at home in New York in the back of the fridge. There's definitely white chocolate Disney characters from the Grand Floridian gingerbread house. Also.
Oh God!
No one had the heart to eat them. They're beautiful. I don't know. They're still just sitting there.
It's food, Tom.
But it's also like this really cool thing, and it's in the original like Grand Floridian packaging.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do with it. Like, there's nothing I could do with it, but
You can't even display it. It will melt.
No, it's
you just
made
have
it-
to leave it in your fridge
hey,
forever.
if the Grand Floridian can display those chocolate eggs in the lobby, I'm sure we could figure it out. Like if those chocolate eggs sit there all season and don't melt,
I mean, I think they're probably sprayed with something.
you think so?
Oh yeah, some lacquer or something to hold them all together, and yeah, they would melt. Oh well.
I don't know anything about.
If you're with the culinary team, let us know.
Someone's going to have the answer to how you keep display chocolate from melting. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll spray them. I'll get whatever it is and spray it.
You could hold the place up with like a hairdryer. Nobody move. Bring back the orchestra or the eggs get it.
The eggs get it. Oh, man.
There's
What were
still
we
so
talking
much
about
to
the
cover.
vault?
We were talking about how
this guy,
much you
too.
like the vault collection. Oh, this
The
this
novelty.
thing
I mean, Harold's amazing, right?
is- yeah.
I don't know if I have it on. No, he's off. All right, I'll do it. Me yelling at guests to get out of my parade spot.
They didn't
This is what people thought they sounded like.
they didn't have the Matterhorn open for the 70th, but they had Harold
It'll be open soon.
or the Tiki Room.
The tiki room's closed. It's not the actual 70th till July anyway.
Yeah, I know,
And
but
then
the
you wanna
celebration kicked off.
Flip him on. Here, it's this.
Better than flipping them off.
Hey, Mickey.
Hi, pal. If you haven't bought a ticket to a glorious finale, please do so right now at gloriousfinale.com. Park reservations for today are currently sold out. Please refer to Disneyland.com.
Mickey Mouse.
Please refer to Disneyland.com availability calendar. Don't stand for more than 2 hours, pal.
Hey, Mickey.
Let's celebrate.
It is creepy. It's creepy.
No, I love it.
It's creepy.
Hey, Mickey. Hey, someone said they're in the buttons. Hey, Mickey. They're not. No. Are they?
I don't know.
Hey, Mickey.
Hiya, I'm Mickey Mouse.
We're aware. Hey, Mickey.
Let's celebrate.
Is that he has 3 phrases? Is that?
I,
Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey.
I saw you in the bathroom. He's watching you. It's a creepy. He has other phrases that come out only.
Stop eating
when
the
nobody else-
nerds.
I know the nerds are so good.
Hey, Mickey. Did he turn off?
Don't touch him.
Hey, Mickey. It's real testy. Hey, Mickey. Mickey. Hey, Mickey.
Who's done?
Hello, Mickey. What are you? It's Hey, Mickey, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, pal.
Hiya, I'm Mickey Mouse.
Hey, Mickey. This is not a good endorsement for this product.
It's only $52 for a popcorn.
You know what
bucket.
product I do want to endorse, though?
Oh no, not this thing.
Oh, I love this thing.
I know, but everyone's mad about it.
The key to Disneyland. I love it. When did it just turn itself on? Or have I had
There
it
you
on
go. I
this
don't
whole
know.
time? I love this. I think it's great. I think people are so caught up on the pin thing that there's only one mystery pin in here. That retails for $60. It's basically a big light up toy. What I like though is once you unlock all the locks, there's a bunch of stuff you can do. So I can go, that's Main Street. Main Street music. Also like the speaker is Mickey shaped. I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably. Oh, it's right there. I'm not good at this. This is a bad episode. Then you have...
This is a bad episode, but we love it.
I guess I should show the side, but... Galaxy's Edge theme by John Williams.
Is that Critter Country?
No, Frontierland.
What?
Frontierland.
Oh,
Critter Country was Winnie the Pooh.
oh.
This is just background music. Space Mountain.
Toontown.
Fantasyland. Carousel.
I thought Fantasyland was going to play Chapel Roan.
This is what happens when you complete it. I'm not going to go further in depth on this. There's a whole separate video where we go through all the keys.
I still have mine untouched. Haven't opened it. Haven't used it. Just going to leave that mystery pin forever.
What kind of weirdo would leave these things in their original package?
I just haven't decided what to do with it yet. I did not get to participate in the pin thing because I was getting sick eating all the food.
We don't even know what pin is in yours.
No.
I got
we will
Mansion.
not. We will not. No. We will never open it.
We're opening it.
It's already locked in a vault.
I'm sure it is.
Sealed deep beneath the earth.
Yeah. I'm sure. So I think they did a great job merchandise. The regular merchandise is good too. There's several cool items.
This
the
is
castle.
I got the shirt. You got a shirt?
I like the other one, the map one, which you'll see me wearing in the footage we're showing. I like that one a lot.
I think it's funny that like my shirt is that this is the color scheme of the event, right? And it's kind of reminiscent maybe of the 20th or the 25th at Walt Disney World. One of them, it looks familiar to me. You know, these sort of pastel-y, bright blues
I
and
like the
purples.
colors. I like the decor.
Yours looks like the Disney World 50th.
There was a shirt
Blue
that looked
and
just like this.
iridescent.
Yeah. There was a shirt that looked just like this, the preview shirt.
I have that.
Yeah, but I wore this because this is the episode today.
Yeah.
I like the decor. I like the like party. They really dug into like it's a birthday party. So they're like birthday cake colors. They're bright and cheerful. It's like party decor. And a lot of the entertainment and other stuff reflects that too. I like that because I think they said it in one of the interviews maybe, or maybe they just said it to us at that press. We had that press conference thing.
Yeah.
The 50th and the 60th were real austere. They're very kind of sophisticated.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I like the idea of it's a birthday party for Disneyland.
Let's have fun.
Yeah, I like it, and I think it worked really well with some of the entertainment. The Cavalcade is what it is. I like that Duffy and Shelley May are here. I hope the American audience embraces them. I love them.
Yeah, don't judge them based on the quality of the cavalcade that they appeared in.
Yeah.
There
was an awkward moment at that press conference we went to where they're like, "Oh yeah, we have 2 parades. Wow!" And everyone, we all kind of looked at each other and were like, used to have 3.
Yeah.
This place had 3 parades. So there's still one notch below where the entertainment lineup used to be. I mean, obviously there's what's left of Fantasmic is still operating as well at this time.
Fantastic.
The artist formerly known as Fantasmic is still happening.
By the way, I don't like the term, the motto, so to speak, of celebrate happy.
Why?
I like celebrate happiness would have made more sense grammatically, right? Celebrate happy.
Well, 'cause it's all
it
who
seems
come-
like we're singling out a dwarf.
Yeah.
We're like, let's celebrate happy.
To all who come to this happy place.
Okay,
welcome.
so celebrate a happy place. I don't know. I get it, but I think like
I think it's real challenging to continue to come up with anniversary themes that fit the place. You know, the 50th was the happiest celebration on Earth or the happiest homecoming on Earth. That's the lowest hanging fruit.
right.
That's the easiest one. And in fact, in some of the marketing at the beginning of this, they even said that, happiest celebration on Earth. Where do you go from that one? Like Diamond Celebration made sense because it's just the Diamond anniversary. Like that works. We could do that.
They could have just said celebrate 70 and I would have been fine.
I don't have a problem with Celebrate Happy. I don't like the theme song. I hate to be that
No,
guy.
no, it's terrible.
What did you say it sounds like?
It sounds like, so I'm going to make a TikTok, I swear. It sounds like if you go to the Speedway gas station and you start pumping gas, it's like, and you're like,
Grab
come
an
on
ice
inside
cold-
and grab an ice cold Polar Pop. or what-
69 cents for
It sounds like a gas
for
pump.
89 ounces of soda.
The whistling part of that song sounds like a gas pump advertisement. And it, you know what, when I first heard it, it was like kind of inoffensive because the song gets a little bit, it becomes a little bit more of a song than a joke of itself as it goes on.
Yeah.
But then they get back to whistling. And
The Jonas
I don't
Brothers are too mumbly.
No, no.
They don't
no,
sing clear enough.
It wasn't that.
They're real mumbly.
It's just Joe Jonas, too. It's not the whole squad. Mumbly is that song at the end of I don't want to get into World of Color yet, but the Scott Hoying song, The Great Rainbow, that's a summer, 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 a summer, summer. And I was like, is he, what are they
He's a little
saying?
mumbly. He's a little mumbly.
What are they saying?
Yeah. I had to listen in the car a couple times to figure it out. I will say, I don't like that song on its own. In the context of the show as the walk-off, I love it.
No, I disagree.
No?
I felt like it
I
brought the whole
disagree.
show down. I think
no.
when they go like time for the surprise and boom, they hit you with that Fitz and the tantrum song
Yeah.
or whatever, like that really upbeat thing
Yeah.
is really fun, and they like kind of all the bubbles and smoke and
Yeah.
everything going everywhere.
That's
it's
the
great,
finale.
and then they're like, "Eh, summer,
But that's not, it's the walk-off. It's meant to be
But
like the
nobody's
kiss
leaving.
goodnight.
Nobody's leaving. Everyone's just standing
Wow.
there. And the
World of
show's still
Color's
going.
always had a challenge with telling people when it's over. After the first show, they've never done a good job of indicating when the actual show is over.
Are we talking? I'm sorry. Did I accidentally drag us into World of Color?
So before we get into World of Color, there will be some spoilers in this little interview piece. So first, we're going to start with an interview we got to do about World of Color Happiness, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about an unexpected
was so cool.
surprise that happened while we were there.
All right, we're here at World of Color, the newest version of World of Color, Happiness. We have had an opportunity to see it. We're so excited to see it, and I know that everyone here will be excited to see it too. We're here with Duncan, who's a producer at Disney Live Entertainment.
Hey guys.
And Tom, what do you think?
So, first of all, give us the premise. What is the story behind World of Color Happiness?
For the 70th celebration, we figured what better way to celebrate 7 decades of happy than World of Color with bright colors and vibrant fountains. And we asked our Inside Out friends to help explore what it means to be happy and the different forms and flavors it can take.
Absolutely. The beginning of the show, we have a pre-show with the Muppets, something near and dear, I know, obviously to your heart as well, but to us, talk to us about that Muppet pre-show that everyone's already raving about.
So I'm a huge Muppet fan, so I was really excited when we got to have the Muppets help do a special message at the top of the show. It helps set the tone. It shows that we're going to be playful, we're going to be a little higher energy, and we have them help deliver a message to the audience that goes wrong in all the best Muppet ways.
And please do not jump in the bay. Don't jump in the bay, they'll tell you that.
That's going to be such a phenomenon, that line. You guys have started something. Hope you're ready for that.
Oh, we're ready.
World of Color, we were talking to you before, 15 years since the original show debuted, a one-of-a-kind show, my favorite nighttime show ever, really. I think this is a tremendous follow-up. But I noticed, I was watching the show, and there were some moments where I was like, I remember that clip from the original World of Color. Was that a conscious effort?
It was absolutely intentional. 70 years from Disney history, we're trying to celebrate the parks, but also 15 years for World of Color. It's the best time to really help weave in some of those nods to the original and really help give this show a sense of history and in place and referencing the original World of Color, because most fans are going to remember those moments and those themes, and we want to celebrate it as part of the overall show.
You have some great new moments.
Oh boy, we celebrate the past, but we also have some incredible new moments. Do you want to talk about
Laser
a fun
donkeys
one?
is another thing that's
Everybody loves
Laser
laser
donkeys.
donkeys. So in our surface pressure sequence, when we have our friends from Encano dancing through, we noticed that there were these amazing donkeys dancing in the background, and we thought, what better way to do it than paint them in laser on the water? And it's one of my favorite looks in the whole show.
Do you have a personal favorite moment in the whole show?
Oh, I think my favorite moment is actually in the Incredible sequence. So there's a look where we have Dash running, we have lasers and lights moving, and we really give this sense of speed and energy for Dash from the Incredibles. It has really a look we haven't done before, and it makes me happy every time I see it.
It kind of felt like I was in a motion simulator at that moment,
yeah.
right? I mean, I got that brief sensation of speed. It was really incredible.
As soon as it was over, that was the moment Eric brought up to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amazing.
it's a great sequence.
Yeah, it's my
So,
favorite.
That's tremendous, and I'm sure the show is going to bring a lot of joy to many guests.
lot of joy.
I mean,
yeah.
and we're talking about joy. We need to have joy with us.
Oh, it's joy, everybody.
Thanks for being here.
So joy helps lead the audience on our emotions through the journey of happiness, and so we're glad to have her here today.
Thanks, Joy.
Joy makes the show.
The World of Color Happiness, now performing nightly for the Disneyland 70th anniversary celebration.
So that was really amazing just to be down there alone early in the morning with a
Well,
film
we had
crew.
Joy and Duncan, and it was very, very cool.
Yeah, but not a big crowd. Nobody was staying for more than their allotted 2 hours to save a spot. We had plenty of space.
That family was already there. I fought with. They were there.
I thought this ended up being the highlight of the trip for me because not only did we get to be down there and talk to, really an amazing, imagine everybody's really Disney Live Entertainment producer.
Yeah,
right?
same
He had
thing.
a
They're all in the
WDI
same
name tag.
house.
And also Frank from the Henson Company.
Well, Frank is also WDI PR.
Right.
Yeah. So Frank was nice enough. So he's while we're doing our filmed content, Frank is operating the fountains in World of Color via an iPad.
We didn't know that at the time.
No, and so he showed us, and then goes, "Would you like to try?" And Eric's like, yeah. And so here's what happened.
We're controlling World of Color. Are you ready, Tom? Pick your color and pick your
just pick
effect.
a color. I'm going to do green for Kermit,
Okay.
and then orange.
Oh, look at that.
Life highlights.
Let me try. Here, give me to it. Try. All right, what color do we want?
So white's the least impressive, so I would not recommend white. But,
I'm gonna do blue.
and then the orange ones make the bigger.
Blue always looks the best because it's water,
Blue?
right?
And big hit.
Look at that. Amazing.
I would say life highlight.
This is a
World of Color is my
core
favorite.
memory.
Yeah.
With an inside out theme, core memory.
My favorite nighttime show of all time. There is no doubt. World of Color.
This is the way that it actually went down was I thought that someone was in the booth. And the booth for World of
Yeah.
Color, if you don't know, is kind of like under the San Francisco Bridge, basically.
The bridge up to Pixar.
Or, I'm
Pier,
sorry,
yeah.
the Pixar
Adjacent to the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, that bridge. And I thought someone was there.
Yeah.
And then I see he has an iPad, and I go, "Oh, you're doing all that with an iPad? Can I see?" And he's like showing us, and then he's like, "Do you guys want to try it?" We're
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I shared that video with a few people, and they were like, "Oh, so and so went, and I didn't see that." Because I think initially what they thought is like, "Oh, they let everybody that did this interview then
Yeah.
control World." That is not what happened.
Yeah.
We were just bold enough to like sort of through the power of suggestion be allowed to control it. Frank was so nice to let us do
I
it.
think
It was-
they Disney knows us well enough at this point. They're like they're the biggest nerds in the bunch. Like they know how to make us happy. They're like, yeah, just let them push some buttons. They'll be fine.
If they had let me know where that fireball button was, it would have been
I
a
don't think
crazy
he had
morning
one.
in Anaheim.
I don't think he had.
I don't think
on
he had
there.
the fireball button.
No, because that's a very expensive button.
That was an
It's a
incredible.
couple $1,000s every time they punch that, I believe.
It was an incredible moment.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And I will say that this is my favorite World of Color ever. I know that you disagree.
Wow.
You think it's your second favorite, I think. Or
I have a real hard time putting anything above original World of Color. It's one of those things where I think you see it the first time and it's life changing because you can't believe it was done. You're like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? Because the Bellagio fountain, I went in the reverse order. I saw the Bellagio fountains after.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I could see how they arrived at, but
Yeah.
man, the Disney version is just so much grander and magnificent and complicated.
there are things that like I watched a video with someone who was familiar with World of Color but had not been to World of Color. And like, are those fountains right next to you? Like, oh yeah, you're like there are fountains throughout the crowd, bubble machines throughout the crowd, the lights the regular street lights change colors, the lights on the Incredicoasters, like the infrastructure for that show. So like
insane.
recently on Twitter, people that don't know better said things like that the fountain at Epic Universe is like somehow has surpassed World of Color, and you're like, you have no idea what you're talking
It's like
about.
1/18th of it.
Right, the amount of stuff that they have, it is not just spouts of water. World of Color is so much infrastructure and so cool. And to do a show like, and I think, I will agree with, there were people that were kind of underwhelmed by it on our video comments. Everybody loved the Muppet intro, right? The Muppet pre-show is incredible. But I think that were people that were like, oh, it's kind of, no. To be there, I loved that it had some, they went back to the well with some of the songs that we know work in a Nighttime Spectacular. But with very few exceptions, there are a different arrangement. Look, the Trash in the Camp bit with Joy, and they're doing a different arrangement of Trash in the Camp. and by the end of it, she's spelling out all the words on the water. The zabadoop, doobadoop, doobadoop, doobadoop. I just thought that was so cool. Go the Distance. They had a different version of that.
Oh, that incredible sequence where they remix
It seems like
into
you're
the
running.
Michael Giacchino style. Go the Distance, How Far I'll Go from Moana, and what's the song from from Tangled?
I See the Light. No, I Have a Dream.
I Have a Dream. Yeah.
It was, and the motion of the Incredibles stuff was incredible. We got laser donkeys. Like, I just thought this show,
It's a fantastic. Coming off of World of Color 1, which
I didn't like World of Color.
has good segments, but it's very disjointed. And this was the opposite, where I thought, this is like the most ingenious narrative they came up with. What a blessing it was that Inside Out 2 came out.
Yeah.
And because obviously it has to be IP heavy. And the original World of Color is IP heavy. It's not an original.
The original World of Color,
Yeah.
I would dare say, is like a clip show. They're like, let's
Yeah.
make sure we include everything we've ever done.
But it exists within the context
Yeah.
of the song. It's traveling through the verses of the song. This is maybe a stronger narrative in that it's, well, the theme of the event is happiness, and happiness and joy, those are emotions. We have a movie about emotions. So the Inside Out 2 cast, we're going to use them to explain all the different things that make people happy. People are different, and different things make people happy. And we're going to use the emotions to explain how different things make people happy. Now, again, having to work, like live entertainment, let's not mince words, they have to work within a system. And the system currently is, we want to use a bunch of IP, and in some cases, very current IP in these shows to keep it relevant and such, to leverage it, if you will, the word they like to use. And so there's some moments in there where there are moments where I watch the show and I go, oh no, not Wish, no. But then you realize, you're like, they had to use all this recent stuff, but they found a way to use it that connects to the emotion they've chosen, and then also to a lot of other movies that if that movie's not your thing, there are moments in that sequence that will connect with you, because undoubtedly a movie or two you feel something for will be in that sequence. So there's Wish. I forget which emotion sets up the Wish number.
But can I say something controversial
Yeah.
while we're on the topic? I was very resistant to See Wish because I felt like Disney was trying to beat me over the head with it. All the merch and all the stuff and merch everywhere and Wish stuff everywhere. And I will say, when I watched it at home, it did not make an indelible mark on my life. I didn't have a deep connection with stuff, but I thought it was cute and I thought the music
It's
was
certainly
good.
not bad. The music's great.
Yeah. So,
Love the music.
So to include the
Yeah.
Wish song, I'm fine with that because that
But
is a
Fear-
song that's built for a nighttime
Yeah, but the
spectacular.
fear portion, I love that transition where he sets up you want me to let it go, and when we venture into the unknown, it's the two Frozen songs, and you think you're going to go into a Frozen segment, and you don't, and instead it transitions into villains and threats and the big scary anxiety head, which is my favorite moment in the show. That anxiety is actually the greatest Disney villain of all.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
That kind of dovetails into, by the way, Wondrous Journeys, which is kind of about failure and uncertainty and overcoming those things as a creative person. Anxiety certainly walks hand in hand with some of those emotions. So I don't think that was intentional that they're got this through line, from DCA to Disneyland. But I think it's kind of cool. And my favorite part is that there is no let up on this show. There's no long pause between songs. They finish a song and you're on to the next one, and here we march along. And I think it's great. And then at the end, when the bubbles and the smoke
So they
bubbles,
put the
and
smoke.
oh.
They put smoke bubble machines in, which they also just do regular smoke during the boy band segment is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Those are some. Everyone in that audience is going to connect to one of those things, no matter what your age group is. If you're younger, you probably connect with Four Town from Turning Red. If you're my age, then those other two are going to come on. True to Your Heart from Mulan, or Eye to Eye from Powerline in a Goofy movie. That segment is stellar, and with the smoke in the crowd and all the lights and everything, it's really great. I don't want to. We'll do an honest review of the show at some point, so I don't want to get into the fine details of it right now because there's a lot to take in. It is. It is absolutely my second favorite World of Color, just because original World of Color to me is just untouchable.
Right.
It's just, and it's not a knock on World of Color Happiness, because I think they achieved something.
Yeah.
I think they put out something that they can be incredibly proud of. That is the first. It's the first time since the original show that anything has felt close to the original show. Not that I don't like the Season of Light. The last segment of Season of Light
end of
is
Season of Light is amazing.
magnificent, magnificent finale. But this is easily the second best, and I could see if given time to live with the show for a little while, I think it could, for me, it could surpass the original. I think they did that good of a job. But the part that I think we have to talk about, I'm not going to take this out again, but we have to talk about the Muppets.
The Muppets.
So the whole show has a Muppets through line, which is
They're also
it starts with
celebrating
the
their
pre-show.
70th anniversary, by
Yes.
the way. Yeah.
The pre-show, which is the most ingenious thing ever, which is let the Muppets do the safety spiel for World of Color, which we learned in Muppet Vision, when you let the Muppets do safety, it's amazing. Like, this is a genius idea. Let's do it again, and it's great with the legal
Legal
Joe
Weasel.
the legal weasel,
Yeah.
which is clearly, he's a play on all corporate legal teams. I'm sure some of the Disney lawyers felt they were a little offended, I'm sure, but this pre-show is phenomenal. It's all the anarchy you expect from the Muppets, with all the heart, and the "Don't Jump in the Bay," blah blah blah. Don't jump in the bay. Why we don't have "Don't Jump in the Bay" T-shirts yet?
Well, I just started designing them. Give me a couple days. I agree with you. I think that is amazing, and the incorporation of Rainbow Connection into the show in various spots. I think if there's one real highlight of the new music, I think it is the Boyz II Men arrangement of Rainbow Connection.
That open and close, right?
Yeah.
The open, the very well, it's not Boyz II Men at the beginning, but
not
it
the
is,
beginning.
but it is Rainbow Connection. It's this very
A stirring version.
and I like that slow, emotional.
No banjo.
Enter into World of Color, and because Inside Out's a very emotional. Those are very emotional movies. Both of those movies are very emotional.
Yeah.
The Muppets stir up a lot of emotion. So you've picked a lot of characters that make people feel in a show that through time has always made people feel. Because when you're looking at fountains that are that vibrant and that beautiful, it's hard not to get swept up in all of that. But they've used all the right cast of characters, the right music, all together. And again, ending on Boyz II Men, Rainbow Connection is phenomenal.
All in all, I felt like all the feels, right? Yeah. And I love that it's Celebrate Happy is the theme we've gone with, and it's a very happy show, but it kind of talks about with the emotions that like all to get happiness, you kind of need all of them.
Yeah.
Right? Without for every laugh there must be a tear and all that kind of stuff. All the emotions kind of work together, and happiness is not possible without sadness and
it's a real, like, I get a little teary-eyed at that moment. I think and then you go into Rainbow Connection, which there's some added emotion right now as a fan, because we know Muppet Vision is going away. So there's a part of me that's obviously very upset that Muppet Vision is going away, but also there's a part of me that's so overjoyed that the folks at WDI and Creative Entertainment, there's so many people clearly within the company, not Walt Disney World, but the rest of the company, who are as emotional about that going away and are clearly like, I'm going to do my part to keep these beloved characters alive.
Yeah.
And not only are they keeping them alive, they are now part of a World of Color show that is spectacular and is going to make so many people, a whole new generation of people, fall in love with the Muppets the way we did, whether you're of a generation that they were on television or you're a generation where Muppet Vision was your introduction to them. I think there's a whole new generation that in a very similar way, like World of Color, this show's going to hang on.
Yeah.
It's a strong show. It's absolutely going to be around for a bit.
Yeah.
And it's going to be that Muppet introduction for a lot of people.
Disney, you want to make some money, by the way?
Yeah.
Release software that is the World of Motion or World of Color simulator, where I can at home create my own World of Color show with all that, can you imagine if you could build your own?
You could. There is software. The software Disney uses is commercially available.
But I mean, just give me, I'd have to do a lot.
You want a simplified version.
Give me the simplified version where I'm like, here's the part where I want blue fountains.
We do have
Give me
some
the
friends
iPad.
who have done this, where I know like they've program Disney fireworks shows and
Yeah.
such because they know the program Disney uses and you can find it. And
I
play
think it'd
around
be
with
so
it.
fun and at home. And then they could have a contest. And at the end, the winner of the contest, that's the version of World of Color that they show that night. That'd be good.
That would be a bad idea though because you guys wouldn't see me for months. I'd just be at home,
You'd be like in the
like
lab.
producing. I've been producing this for no real reason. I've been producing my own World of Color show.
This is the first Disney Nighttime Spectacular based on the life of Gelatoni. That'd be a good one.
Anyway,
All
did
right.
you see? Complete tangent. They've announced the Walt Disney World pin event. It's for the 25th anniversary. Did you look at the catalog?
No, but I read about it on the news today.
You did.
It's 21 pages.
There's a mystery pin set.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what some of the pins in the mystery pin set are?
Are they Duffy and Friends?
One of them's Gelatoni.
Yeah.
One of them's Shandu. One of them's Albert. Another one's Figment. They've made a pin set that is my
When's that event?
personality.
When is that event?
I think it's in the fall. I
In
have
the
to
fall,
look again.
September or something like that?
June 12th is registration. But not only that, there's a frame pin set with Shandu and Albert again. Like they never get pins to be. Eric's like, oh no, we'll never financially recover.
I will never financially recover from this pin event.
I can't believe there's Shandu more so than Albert. The fact that there's 2 Shandu pins is insane.
Who's your favorite Disney cat between Shandu and Gelatoni?
I can't pick.
You can't pick, right?
Between those 4, a Figment would win just because that's like my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But the other 3, like I love them all. Like there's so much the personality of those parks
Yeah.
that I love them so much. But I think it's a decent segue into where we're going. So
wanna
tell
talk
them
about it?
about where after. So the Muppet event's going to end. We're all going to be emotionally destroyed, and then the Muppet event's over, and then
I don't want to spoil my vlog, but I will give you some highlights.
okay.
I'm going. I don't know where you're going. Are you going anywhere after that?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm hanging
So,
out for a minute.
I'm going to Italy. Going to take my first trip.
You're going to
on-
go see real Gelatoni.
on the yeah, I'm going to look for a cat that paints with his tail. I'm going to go on the Disney Fantasy for the first time ever.
My favorite
Take
trip.
a little cruise through Italy and the Greek Isles. When I get back, we're going to spend it. We have a group of us going. We're going to spend a few days in Rome, and then I am flying from Rome to Hong Kong to meet up with you for the Hong Kong Disneyland 20th anniversary.
We are going to Hong Kong for the kickoff of their 20th anniversary event, which I'm super excited about. A whole new parade, new stage show, momentous with drones. Hong Kong, I love Hong Kong so much. It is it's the most beautiful setting of any of the Disney parks in the world. In the world. I have not been to a theme park in a better, more beautiful location. On top of that, it has all the charm of original Disneyland, with the magic of some wonderful new things like Mystic Manor and Grizzly Gulch and some other
I
and,
can't wait.
and a world of Frozen that's very, very cool.
I can't
And your first time.
My first time.
Your first trip,
After
that's exciting.
my first trip on the Fantasy, and my first
Yeah.
time being in Italy, by the way. I've been in Europe a lot. I've traveled a lot in my life, but
Yeah.
never been to Italy, believe it or not. Greek Isles. I mean, I don't want to even look forward to Hong Kong too much because there's so much I'm looking
You
forward
have
to
to
before
appreciate
that.
the things before. yeah.
And then just the fact that I am going to circumnavigate the globe, right? Because I'm flying then from Italy to Hong Kong, then from Hong Kong back to Orlando. I will have literally come full circle. It's pretty exciting. I have a layover in like what's supposed to be one of the best airports in the world in Qatar.
Oh,
So I have a 3-hour layover there. Just enough time to take a few pictures and grab a snack.
I know people are listening are like, oh, so that means we're not getting another podcast for 3 months?
Maybe we'll do something there. I don't know.
We'll figure it
We
out.
We'll
figure it out. I know while you're gone in mid-June, I will make sure we get some podcasts going. Maybe I'll try to get a couple in the can with some special
Because
guests.
in July we have Disneyland again for the Walt animatronic.
Yeah.
Then in August we have the Universal Haunted House, the Horror Unleashed in Las Vegas.
I'm getting anxiety right now.
September there's probably something.
The giant anxiety head is now in my head.
And
scaring me.
between all that, I'm sure we're going to have, Food and Wine Festival review and
Yeah, it's end August.
end of August. There's just a lot. There's just a lot.
It's a busy year. It's a busy year, but we've got. I don't want to jump
can't
ahead
wait.
too much
It's very
because Epic,
exciting, yeah.
Epic's the big thing right now, and
Yeah.
then after Epic, we'll focus on Muppets, and we'll focus on things as we
Epic doesn't
progress.
count because it's not open yet. So
Tomorrow.
I've been 4 times and you've been 7, but they don't count because they were only technical rehearsal.
Sure.
The $144 ticket does not count.
Yeah.
Now you should have no expectations if you spend $144 on ticket that a ride will work. So that will be good. We'll get to go to. You're going to go to Epic several times. I'm going to join you on Saturday, I guess,
Yeah.
and we'll have a lot to say about that. I'm sure when
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of really good feelings about some of the stuff at Epic and other things. I think there's room for improvement. We can talk about all those things. And
We should sum up Disneyland 70 though, even though it's not complete, right? The
Food.
The food, you did the food.
We haven't
That's
talked about it, except
no,
I ate
but
a
there's
lot
a
of
vid. Go watch it.
go watch the
Go
video.
watch the video, and we all jump in. I'm in there. Nana's in there. Allie. It's a
Chuck.
good time. You get to see. You get to see almost everybody.
Yeah.
Jump in, which I like when we get to do that. I
Yeah.
think that should be the way moving forward. Is that we all you get a taste of all of our personalities.
But Tom got mad at me that I liked things that he didn't like.
I just didn't agree because I feel bad. I'm always worried that we will recommend an item, people will get it, be like, this is gross, and then they'll never watch another food
You know what,
review.
Nana, and I
That's
liked
always
that
my
you hated
concern.
was that mimosa. You said it was terrible, and the
Oh, we had
fluted
a
glass.
bad one yesterday.
Mine was not bad. I was like in the context of all the cocktails that I've had at DCA festivals and
Yeah.
stuff. It was one of the least offensive.
It wasn't terrible. The beer, I hated the beer.
Well, the beer's an IPA, and I don't like IPAs.
And then we threw
So
it into the beer, and it was disgusting.
I had to estimate. I had to grade on a curve because I'm not an IPA guy, and I was like, you know what? For an IPA, this is not nearly as hoppy as normal. It's a little bit
Celebrate
more tolerable.
hoppy.
Celebrate hoppy. So to me, I think I graded it on a curve based on maybe someone who likes IPAs would like this. Like, I didn't love it. I did finish it, which is a lot for me in an IPA. Because usually I'm like, hey, just give me a time for a good old macro brew, right? Let me go for a Modelo or something. But no, I thought those were not as bad as you did, and I didn't think that moose thing was as bad as you did. But
Sure.
that's just me. I defy anyone to not love the walking taco. Well, Lee won't because it's cilantro.
It's
but-
delicious. It's absolutely delicious.
And the
There were a lot of
pineapple
winners.
upside down
I
double.
got to get the ribs in July
The Tahitian grilled ribs,
from Bengal Barbecue. Yeah.
Bengal barbecue. I
That's
never
always
miss.
my favorite. Of course, I ate before the event kicked off. I ate at Bengal Barbecue because I have to.
And you ate at Din Tai Fung twice, you son of a gun.
Well, I
only got
had to
go
take.
once.
We got to go for the media event, which was nice. We were hosted, but then Rosanna came later,
Yeah.
and it's our favorite restaurant, and rightfully so. It's yours too. It's everyone's. That's replaced Sanaa. I'm ready to say that.
Yeah, it's the best.
I'm ready to say Sanaa. I still love Sanaa, but Din Tai Fung is my new Sanaa.
I can't argue with that. I think, look, there are more highly rated probably Disney or fancier Disney restaurants, but Din Tai Fung for a restaurant on Disney property is right up there with the best of them.
It's
If
amazing.
it's
You don't
not the
have
best.
to be signature to be great. I think my favorite restaurants at Disney World are those hidden gems, which
Mm-hmm.
are Ale and Compass and Sanaa and those. And Din Tai Fung is not quite that hidden because it's a very famous chain.
Yeah, Michelin star.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
but it's famous for a reason. Those signature items do not miss.
I
They are incredible.
sent, for those of you in the audience, I sent Tom a text with a screenshot of a Din Tai Fung in Hong Kong. And he sends back, we have Din Tai Fung at home. We have McDonald's at home. I was like,
I'm
I know,
like,
it's a 5-hour flight
There's
for
a
me,
million places to eat in Hong Kong. And I'll be honest, I've never really gotten to leave the park there. I've always been on a nightmare itinerary every time I've gone to Hong Kong.
Oh.
This is, other than World of Frozen, which had to be quick because I had to be back for the charity marathon. All those other trips, it was in the middle of a trip somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I've never had time to go out into the city, which sounds psychotic, and it is. In Paris, it took me 8 trips before going into Paris because there just never was time with everything I had planned. Hong Kong's been a similar thing, but maybe we'll be able to get out into the city and go to a nice restaurant or two.
Right,
But
one
we
of
do
those
have
weird boats.
we do have a pretty busy itinerary though, because there's so much event stuff going on, and we're not there for that long.
I mean, I do have to ride Mystic Manor 12 to 15 times.
That's low. If we only do it 15 times, it will have been a bad trip.
I didn't ride anything at Disneyland except the dark rides during the
Been
media.
there. That's close to home.
I didn't get to do my Pirates.
Mystic and Grizzly. As long as we get on those like 25 times, they'll be all right.
Perfect.
It'll be okay.
So 70th, are we held to a different standard because it's the 70th versus the 50th at Disney World? Is it?
I mean, it still blows the 50th away.
Yeah.
I think it's worth going to, because if you have not seen Paint the Night, we didn't even talk about Better Together, but it's the same as last year. If you have not seen those things, I think it's absolutely worth going. I think Tapestry, if you're a Parks fan, Tapestry is going to be a highlight.
Tapestry and World of Color.
World of Color is amazing. It is a great, great show, and I am so overjoyed to be able to say that, because there was a long stretch of time with a lot of nighttime shows where I was very, ugh, what are we doing? Like, and I think about especially that run of Epcot shows,
Yeah.
which I'll be honest, like I like Luminous. Luminous is fine, but it's not great. There was a stretch where it's kind of like Disney Live
It's great in
Entertainment.
comparison to Harmonious.
There was a stretch where I'm like, Disney Live Entertainment has lost their way. They don't know how to do it anymore. And then the last couple of months between the Moana show on the cruise ship and this, I am so overjoyed to see that they are back at it, to see that they have put it back together and are figuring it out and know how to do this again.
Especially the stage shows, because there's no shortage of talented people that can do a show,
Yeah.
but to find them, but they also get it.
Yeah.
They also get the Disney, like what makes people love this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you figure if they get a really good person, they probably won't have a whole lot of experience with this community and with this thing.
Yeah.
And I think that they've really found some great people.
It's good. It's good. Good on them, because I will say that there's a lot of discourse about Disney versus Universal and blah, blah, blah. There is one realm of the theme park game that there is no competition, and there never has been, and there never will be, and that's nighttime entertainment.
Yeah.
Disney that's always been their thing, because of what those shows make you feel. Not only that they're technical marvels, that you feel things. And to, again, have things like Moana and World of Color Happiness where, after that string of stuff that was kind of just, okay.
Yeah.
To be back to where I'm again excited every time a new nighttime shows. I'm really excited about Starlight and Magic Kingdom. I can't wait. I'm so hopeful. They need to nail this. They need to nail it.
Yeah.
We need to have a great nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. And
I agree.
given the current run of success, I'm pretty hopeful. Like when that was announced, I was like, oh, okay, I hope it's great. And now that I've seen a couple things from live entertainment the last couple of months, I'm like, okay, I believe in you again. Let's do this.
I believe in it too. I think this celebration has been a success so far.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get more cool vault merchandise, which I'm looking forward to, and my wallet is not looking forward to. And I'll be back out there in July. And
I think that's the thing that's going to put it over the edge, though.
the Walt thing.
I think the Walt attraction is going to be the thing for, as fans.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the thing that's going to put it over the edge for us.
Yeah.
But again, if you either love those things, if you love Wondrous Journeys and Paint the Night, or have never seen them, they're both running, and it's a good. If you love entertainment, Disneyland's back.
Yeah.
Like for the first time since COVID, Disneyland feels like itself again. So does the audience in the park. But it's nice to see Disneyland and DCA alive with entertainment fully again. And so that's the highlight of the 70th for me.
All right. Yeah, I agree. The entertainment is what set it apart. We didn't even talk about the Carthay Circle projection thing.
It's a cute surprise and delight if you catch it.
Yeah. And the Disney Junior Club, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
It's a new show, but it's
show.
solid. It's enjoyable.
Little kid show.
for the kids.
All in all,
Yeah.
I think it's a success. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
Be nice to people when you're there.
And also the magic. Let's end on this. They finally figured out magic bands. They finally figured out what to do with magic bands that makes you want a magic band, which are the interactive things that
Pieces of
give you
paper.
paper. But not only that, did you see the Fantasyland windows, like Toad in those?
Yeah.
Then they open up and they're cool animated scenes. They're not screens.
Yeah.
They're physical effects. So between that and all the little paper souvenirs you get for having the magic band and tapping and the little sound
I
effects.
found my
and
one
everything,
souvenir today from Tilly.
Yeah, it's kudos to them on that. That's they've been trying to piece together that puzzle, and it's been like wave at a statue, and I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And now finally you have these things where as a fan you're like, oh, I get these cool, unique 70th anniversary paper souvenirs to take home, but also it was a cool experience. Like there were sound effects and light.
Yeah.
But then also those Fantasyland windows don't give you paper, but they are incredible.
Yeah.
They're really cool. So I think that's a good little note to end on.
Let's end on that. Please give us a like, subscribe. The WIGS. We have a WIGS commercial. Maybe I'll just have Billy insert it somewhere in the show somewhere. I don't know. WWNT Interglobe Society. You can support us on Patreon. WWNT.com/Patreon or Patreon.com/WWNT. We appreciate the support. And in the spirit of 3D, we'll see you next time on the WDW News Today podcast. And then Tom says,
see you real soon.
there you go. Bye-bye.
What a cute ending.